basically they're like yelling, "Oh, we gonna get you." So the warden, she comes down, it's a lady, and she was like, "What y'all got going on?" I'm like, "Nothing." She said, "Well, they said that you were shooting at them." I'm like,
damn, this was already snitching?
yeah, but I was like, that's when I realized right there, like, the street shit, I'm like, damn, like, these fools play gangster on the street, but why would you tell this lady that, you know, even if I did? But it just sucked to be, like, the only Hispano there, you know what I'm saying? So, like,
wow.
So just imagine, like, new people come in, I'm like, ain't no raza coming in, you know, like.
And you're just by yourself?
I'm by myself. But there's no evidence. The only evidence I had was I got a big 13 on me, you know? So they were like, you do know you're facing 108 years. If you look me up, it says that, like, you know, 18-year-old facing 108 years. And I was like, they were like, if you don't take the plea, we can give you up to 108 years. And I'm like, bro, I'm not taking the plea. Like,
on today's episode, we have Primo Blue, one of the only Southsiders in Georgia. And when he was busted, he was literally the only Southsider there. He started at 9 years old and faced up to 108 years when he was 18. You're going to want to stick around for this one. Hit that subscribe button. We're not wearing that old, we're wearing the new Paisley Bandit sweatpants. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Indicted TV. I'm your host Negra. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Before we start, you already know I gotta give a shout out to my sponsors, Royalty Honey. Keep it hard, guys. Also for the best jewelry for his glory. And if you're throwing a party, a big event, whatever it might be, make sure you get your porta potties by Always Gone. Because if you ain't shitting in those, you ain't right. Also, if you got in an accident and you need to fix your car, or you need 24-hour road assistance, Los Duros Auto Collision. And you already know we ain't wearing nothing else but shock-aware. And on today's episode, we have Primo Blue. Welcome to Indicted TV.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Good.
Great.
So tell us where you're from, where you grew up. How was the inside of your house growing up?
So I bounced around as a kid. I lived in Texas a little bit. I lived in Florida, but mostly I grew up in Georgia. I grew up in like a small town, Warner Robins. A lot of people, when they think about Georgia, they just think Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So when people from LA or wherever ask me, I just be like, yeah, I'm from the outskirts of Atlanta, because they don't know.
And what is it called again?
Warner Robins. It's a small town. A lot of people know the bigger city, Macon, but it's like 5 minutes from there.
Okay, nice.
But me growing up, my household, single mom. My dad died when I was 7. Single mom, 3 kids. My dad had 10 kids.
Oh, shit.
But I didn't know them.
Okay.
And we kind of bounced around a little bit. You know.
How was school? Well, everywhere you went. I'm sure it was tough.
So school for us, I know out here, y'all have like a lot of Hispanics that go to school with y'all. I don't. When I went to school, it was like me, maybe a cousin or two that were Mexican or La Raza, you know?
Yeah.
And it was mostly like blacks or white. But because we grew up in, you know, rough neighborhoods, it was like mostly black.
Okay.
And yeah, you know.
That's how it was. And so everywhere you bounced was like, everywhere you moved around, it was like low income areas as well.
So really, I moved around. My family really didn't move around. I was the one that, you know, like.
You yourself?
Yeah, myself left.
As a little kid though?
No. So as a little kid, you know, because my dad, he's Cuban. So
that's why you have that look. Yeah. Okay.
But my mom, she's Mexican.
Okay.
So, you know, he was more like most Cubans are from Florida.
Yeah.
Well, he's from Cuba, but he lived in Florida. So basically, we would go back and forth from there to Georgia and things like that.
Okay.
And then when he got to a certain age, and I left back to Florida, then from there to Texas, then back. You know.
Okay. That's why you have that look. Yeah. It's a certain look the Cubans have, you know?
Yeah. I just don't talk like them, though.
No, I know.
Yeah.
You could definitely... No, you talk more like a country-ass fool.
Yeah. Because I'm from the country.
That's right. No, it's cool, though. You know, everybody... That's what I love about, like, just us, right? Just living in different places. Like, you could always hear the accent. It doesn't matter. Like, for me, it's like, oh, you talk like a mean paisa. But it's like... what am I supposed to sound like?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to sound white? Am I supposed to sound black? Am I supposed to sound like, what am I supposed to sound like? I just sound like an LA ass lady, I feel.
Yeah.
Because I say lady because I'm grown, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not a young adult, I'm grown. So
definitely.
I'm a lady, you know, I'm a
Yeah.
lady, I'm a fucking super señora, you know, like, but I'm
Doña?
a Chicana, I'm a super doña, you know, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be 44. Like, I am a Chicana born and raised in LA. So I'm just like, how am I supposed to sound?
Yeah.
You know, this is all I know, you know?
Y'all say fool a lot. You know, we don't really say that over there. Like, y'all be like,
no.
fool, homie. We don't really, I mean, we say it, but not really, you know?
Yeah. What do you guys say? Like when you see your friend.
A lot of controversy on that, but it depends on, because I grew up with them. So
You can say the N-word.
And we say the N-word sometimes. Not always, but like, I'm not going to just N-word it to death. Like, N-word, but, you know.
I mean, with your friends, yes.
Not even then, though, because I just look at it more like, that's not really our culture, but we grew up with that.
Yeah, it's normal.
And a lot of my homies are black, you know, so like, I might see him and what's up, you know, N-word, you know? And they say the same thing. Like, it's not like, but I just don't N-word it to death as in like, N-word this, N-word that. Because a lot of people, like, they override it. And
Yeah,
I be
it's like, bro, come the fuck down.
Like, you're doing it too much, you know what I'm saying? Like, right now the word's twin over there.
What a twin?
I don't know if you know that twin. Like, yeah, twin. But I be like, bro, I'm not your twin, dog. I'm an essay, you know, like.
Oh, okay. I get it. Okay. So let's go back. So obviously school was okay for you. You went to different schools as a little kid because you moved around. At what age? Wait, hold on. Let me go back. Hold on. School was cool. When did you see yourself changing as far as like, you know, getting into trouble already?
So
if you did as a young kid.
Did I? So like I said, like, so most of the majority of places where we live were like low income, really like trailer parks. That's where you're gonna catch all the raza over there, trailer parks.
Okay.
So a lot of the trailer parks I grew up in, there ain't nothing but smokers over there, you know, junkies, whatever you want to call them. So we grew up seeing that, but it was like, oh, that is such and such mom, or that's such and such dad, you know?
Yeah.
But we didn't know any different. We just kind of like, oh, you know, whatever, you know? But anyway, so like, I was always in trouble. I was in trouble. First grade, second grade. I was just trouble, you know? Because a lot of fools I hung around were older than me.
Okay.
But I stayed in trouble. In trouble.
Do you recall the first time you got arrested?
Yeah, I was 9 years old.
Do you want to tell us about it?
So, like I said, I was growing up with like older homies, and they were like, "Hey, fool, well, you're young. You know, we should go hit licks. Well, you can go knock on the door. You're young. You're a kid." They come to the door, tell them you're lost. So that's basically what was going on. Even though, like, now I look at it like, damn, bro, they were really using me, but it was more like, well, they're not gonna say nothing to you. You can go knock on the door and they ain't gonna say nothing. Somebody comes to the door, what are you doing? Oh no, I thought such. Or hey man, I'm lost. You know where this is at? And back then we didn't have GPS or phones, things like that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, oh no, you need use my house phones to call your mom or.
Oh,
So
you're in.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? But basically like 9 years old was the first time I got arrested. But it wasn't. I didn't go to YDC, what y'all call like
Juvenile hall?
Yeah, YA. I didn't go to YDC. They just took me to like the the little cell. Kept me there for a couple hours, and then
your mom picked you up.
My mom came pick me up.
What did she say?
Typical Mexican mom.
Hijo de la chingada.
Hijo de la chingada. No, prendes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the kind of things you probably heard all the time. Are you the oldest, middle child?
I'm
or?
the youngest.
You're the youngest.
I'm the youngest.
Oh yeah, you're the one that ran probably more wild than everybody, huh?
Did I?
Yeah. So was there a time where as a teenager or like a young kid that you got arrested and you were in back of the cop car? And what were you thinking that moment?
I'm not gonna lie to you, like, cause a lot of, like I said, I grew up with a lot of the fools that were older. I'm like 9, these fools like 15, 16, things like that. So I was like, some of the homies are already there, like they were already locked up,
Okay.
So when I was 9, they did put me in the back of the cop car and they took me down there and anything like that. But then when I was 11 is when I first hit, like, we call YDC, like what y'all call like the juvenile, YA. So then at the time I was like, I'm finna go see like the homies from the hood.
And what did you get arrested for at that time?
Burglary.
Okay.
Because we were still hitting licks, like.
Did you get picked up right then and then, like? Or how did you get picked up?
For the burglary, when I was 9, I got picked up right then and there.
Okay.
But when I was in 11, I was already getting into trouble, so they already knew. Like, they were like, "There's some fools that are breaking in houses," like. I just imagine like like I said, most of my homies are black. But not like homies from the hood, but like a lot of the guys that grew around. So it was kind of like, that's them, you know, the 4 or 5 black dudes, a little Mexican kid, and we were the ones doing it. So obviously they were like, hey, that's them, you know. But I guess the neighbor seen us, and we ended up getting picked up. Or they told, and later on we got picked up in school.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Because all the kids are looking at you guys.
Well, I was already a trouble kid, so they already knew, like, this fool here stays in and out of trouble, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like.
Okay, so you got in the cop car, and they took you to that juvenile hall.
Yeah, so basically the principal called me up, and I was like, damn, I'm in trouble again, you know? And they were like, hey, you know, somebody wants to talk to you. And I'm like, talk to me. And it was police, and they were like, hey, we're such. Like, we already know such. And I was like, damn. And they were like, hey, put your hands behind your back, you know?
Ah!
Yeah. But in my mind, it really wasn't like, now I look at it like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell was I thinking? But
we weren't.
And at that time, it was more as if like, well, my homie's already down there, so I'm gonna go see him. Mm-hmm. So that's how I looked at it.
Okay, so tell me about you walking in. How did you feel? What did it look like? It's your first time.
Yeah.
Even though you're excited because you're going to go see your friends.
So I wasn't excited, but it's kind of,
I mean, you know?
kind of like it's just something that happens. So obviously they put like in a paddy wagon, and I'm already from like a small town, but they take it to like the middle of nowhere. Like a lot of these facilities are like middle of nowhere, like straight like woods.
Okay.
So like an hour to get there. So then we get there and intake. And then, you know, intake, you do the process, and they're like, oh, you're going to the bag, this is where you're going. But when I first walked in, it was already like nighttime. So I didn't see nobody till like the morning. So in the morning, I see people and, you know, things like that. And I see like one fool from the hood, because like separated dorms, you know?
Okay.
And I see one fool from like the hood, and I didn't stay long. They're like 3-4 days, and then I went to court, and they were like, okay, we're going to let you out. Mm-hmm. But that's when I first realized, like, there's no Mexicans in here. Like,
oh, dang.
it's like nothing but like blacks and whites. And I was like, but so, and the YDCs, like over there, it's like, it goes off area code. It doesn't really go off gangs. You know, it's like, oh, you're from Atlanta, or you're from Savannah, or you're from Macon, or, you know, things like that. So it kind of goes off that, but.
So everybody just kind of sticks together. What area code?
What area code?
Okay.
It's like, as the time went by, then it kind of started going into gangs a little bit.
As you got older.
As I got older, but it still was like, oh, he's from my city though, you know, like,
yeah,
I got to go back and see him, like, even
we got to stick together.
Yeah, like
shit.
even though he's from a Mexican gang, we're from black gangs, or, you know, things like that. They were like, sometimes they would still like ride with me, like, nah, he's from like our town, you know.
Mm-hmm. Ah, so obviously you were just there for you said 4 days. You got out. What happened? You went right back in?
Right back in. So from the age of 11 to like 14, I was just in and out. And out. They would give me like 30 days. I'd get out for like a month or two.
Was there fights, things like that while you were in there?
Yeah, there were, but it wasn't like, it was just like, oh, these fools are from, you know, 229, but my area code's 478.
Okay.
So they were like, oh, these people for 229 or 706 or things like that.
I'm going to go look at my friends. I'm all going to go look at my friends' area code.
And like, where you from, fool? And so it was, but it wasn't not like a, you know, like nothing too like major. Like they didn't have knives or nothing like that. It's just
It's kids. And did your mom go visit you in those few days?
Yeah, she did. She went to visit me a couple times.
Even like in those years, obviously you did more time, so she would have to go visit you, or would she?
She did, but I think that it was more like she would, but it was just kind of like, man, this fool don't listen, you know what I'm saying? This fool, like, you got 30 days in me, whole fucking.
And let me ask you this. While you're in there, obviously it's different. Like I've never heard no juvenile hall stories from over there, right? Like, are your parents able to take you stuff or no? Okay.
No, over there, no. Over there, it's only like they can come visit you, and you can buy this little vending machine. It's like a little vending machine, and you can just eat there for like an hour or two, and then you go back.
Oh. And what do you guys wear? Like jumpsuits or sweats or like what?
So over the years they changed it. Like I said,
when you we're still in your juvenile hall years.
Okay.
So
like the same YDC though, it would change. Like, and this was crazy because I would go in 1 month and they'd be like, oh, we're in all khaki or all blue or jumpsuit, you know? And then I would go in like 2 months down the line, and then they'll change clothes. I'd be, hey, y'all change clothes.
Oh, shit.
But everybody knew me. Like all the staff knew me. Like, this fool, you back again? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're back again. So it was kind of like, that's why I say like it's not really funny to me, like, but it's like, you're state baby, like you're a real state baby, bro. Like,
Yeah, by choice.
yeah, like, but you were really going back and forth, like you really grew up there, you know?
Yeah. They saw you grow.
Yeah, basically they seen me grow.
Yeah, they saw you grow. Obviously your mom was there for you. What's something that stuck to you that you recall while you were in your juvenile hall years
So
that
like
you experienced? You get what I'm saying?
yeah, so like, well, when I was, like I said, like a lot of times I did like short time, right? Until I hit like 14.
Okay,
When
what
I hit
happened?
14, they were like, hey, we're going to commit you to the state. And I
Okay.
was like, what is that? And they were like, basically, it's like when you're committed to the state, it's kind of like, hey, you're just a straight troublemaker, bro. Like, you're in and
So
out.
you basically, it's kind of like YA is a juvenile prisons.
Yeah,
Like
so-
minimum time you're gonna do there is 2 years.
Okay.
That's like the lowest time you get.
That's like committed to the state.
Okay, so it's called committed to the state.
Say, yeah, we call
Okay.
it committed. Well, that's what they call it. And it's like, minimum, they're going to give you 5 years, but you're going to minimum do 6 months. Like, so I was 14 and I really went down for something that wasn't even mine, you know, but
So what happened? Tell us.
so basically, like I said, I'm running with the other homies. At that time, one of the homies, well, he really was a homie, but you know, but like
He was around,
grew up in the
yeah.
neighborhood. He would say rock. So he sold a smoker a fake rock.
Oh, dang.
So I guess the smoker gets mad, upset. They get to arguing. He don't want to pay him. Long story short, he takes his bike, a bicycle. He takes his bike, right? The next day, he's like, I was like, hey, fool, we're just getting a bike from, let me ride it, you know? It's like, okay, cool, we're walking. We're hitting licks. So we're riding, boom. But next, you know, we see these two fools in his yard, these two smokers. We're like, literally just came off a lick. And we're coming with a mochila. And we see these fools in his yard. And they're like smokers. He was like, that's that fool that, how you know where I live, you know?
Oh, shit.
But it was a smoker, so we ended up getting into it with the smokers. It's crazy. We get into it with the smokers. The smokers called the police and was like, hey, you know, this was going on. They basically took the bike from me, such. But we're like, bro, we just hit a whole nother lick.
Somewhere
And
else.
if we get caught up for this, you know, we ended up getting, you know, caught. Not for the other lick, though. But
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God for that one. And then, so we ended up going down. So these fools are grown. So they're going to the county jail. So for them, it's like, oh, theft by receiving. But for me, it's like, I've been back to back to back to back.
It's
So
time for you to get put away for a while.
yeah, so basically they were like, hey, you know, hey, bro, we're going to put you up a little bit. And then basically I went to court, things like that. And then they were like, you can finna do 5, do 1. So then they were like, you committed to the state. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, at the time I was like, damn, bro, I got a year, you know, but now they're finna get ready to ship me off to like different areas. So I'm like, maybe I'll meet more homies instead of just like going where it's just strictly black and white. Mm-hmm. And like I said, most of our whiteies are just strictly black and white. There's not really too much Hispanos over there.
Oh, wow.
And so basically I know everybody, hit the dorms, I know everybody. Well, as soon as I go in, I'm beefing with a lot of fools. So prior to that, like I was already beefing with other neighborhoods, but it was more like, even though the blacks that I hung out with were from different gangs, like some of them were Blood, some of them were GD, some of them were not too many Crips, so there's Crips down there, and I was a homie, we would beef with other fools from other sides of towns, and they would be like Bloods or Crips or GDs, but se juntaban, like they would get together, and it's kind of like, nah, F y'all side of town, you know, and F our side of town, you know, like, it was like weird. And so I ended up going there. A lot of fools that I was beefing with, they were in there. Like, soon as I walk in, so when you walk in, it's like you can kind of see everybody, and then like the sergeant and things like walking you in, and then all these fools are at the windows, like 6 of them. So word was that I was shooting at one of them at the mall. Literally, when I got arrested, they were like, hey, you're such and such. You were the one doing the shooting. And I was like, nah. Like, literally, when I got arrested, and I was like, nah, they were like, well, at the juvenile center, they were like, the detectives, they're like, fool, we got you on camera. They're like, we got you on camera there. We don't have you on camera to shoot. And I was like, that wasn't me. And they was like, well, they already said it was you. And I was like, nah. But anyways, the fools I was beefing with, I walk in, and I see all of them. I see like 6 of them. So, but they're like behind the plexiglass. But they're doing like, we consider it like rah-rah. Like, I think y'all consider it like, I forgot what y'all call it, but I heard a fool from Cali. Like, basically, they're behind the door, but they're like yelling and doing a bunch of. So I walked through there, and then the lieutenant, because a sergeant or lieutenant has to walk you to the dorm. So he's like, hey, what's up with that? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, you know. So obviously I'm throwing them out, you know, I'm a homie. So while they're gang banging, I'm banging too, you feel me? And basically they're like yelling, oh, we gonna get you. So the warden, they call it like a director, but the warden of she comes down, it's a lady, and she was like, what y'all got going on? I'm like, nothing. She said, well, they said that you were shooting at them. I'm like,
damn, this was already snitching?
Yeah, but I was like, that's when I realized right there, like, the street shit, I'm like, damn, like, these fools play gangster on the street, but why would you tell this lady that, you know, even if I did,
yeah,
why would you tell that lady that? And you know, so what she does is she locks us down. We're in separate dorms, but you can still see because it's plexiglass. She locks us down, and then basically they call detectives from my county because we're all from the same county. They call detectives from the county. They go over there, like probably 2 days later, they go down there and they're like, hey, look, well, this is what's going to happen. We know it's over like gang. We know it's over gang things. And they're like, y'all fools keep beefing, then we're going to hit both of y'all with the gang charge. And you gonna get hit with the shooting. And I'm like, bro, I wasn't shooting, you know? Like, it wasn't me. And so that ended up happening. So the fools were like, oh, basically, we're gonna kill it till we hit the street. We're gonna kill it till we hit the street, right? I'm like, look, bro, because what I would tell them, because I was outnumbered. I was like, hey, bro,
you're by yourself.
Y'all got me in here. But when we hit the street, you know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you said I shot at you, you know? So you know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, y'all got me here. No cap. Y'all got me. But when we hit the street, just know what type of timing we're on, you know? Like,
yeah, of course.
And so after that, I never got shipped. Like, it was so much of like, I guess like backtrack of people getting shipped off. Like, they never shipped me off.
You just stood there.
That was like the longest year of my life. Because it was like, you don't do nothing there. Like, they don't have no activities for you, nothing like that. Like, yeah, you go to rec or anything like that. But it's like, I just stood there. And the whole time I probably seen like one or two of the raza. And they hit the camp. It's not a big camp. It'd be like 100 people. But it's like 25 per dorm. But it just sucked to be like the only Hispano there. You know what I'm saying? So
wow.
So just imagine like new people come in. I'm like, ain't no raza coming in, you know, like.
And you're just by yourself.
I'm by myself. But like, what's crazy is like the fools that I ended up beefing with, we're from the same area, like from the same city. So when it would be times that like, oh, they're finna fight with another the area code, these fools would kind of look at me like, damn, should we help them? Should we not help them?
Did they?
So one time, they transfer people around, and another guy comes in, and basically they're like, hey fool, another African American dude, they were like, hey fool, we come from such and such, and we be doing the Mexicans bad, and you know, shit like that, you know. And I was like, hey, bro, this ain't it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they're probably used to like paisas in there, like we be robbing paisas and shit like that, but so I was like, hey fool, this ain't it, you know what I'm saying? Like this ain't what you think. So literally the fool's probably like 2 kids behind me, and he was like, man, I'm finna ride with bro. And when I turned back and looked, it was the fool I was beefing with on the street. And he was like, shit, he from my city, like, because the other fool was trying to say like, oh, well, I'm from such and such, I'm from such and such, they gonna ride with me. You the only one here, you know what I'm saying? Like, the fool I was beefing with on the street told me like, oh, I'm riding with bro, like told the other blacks, and he was black. He was like, I'm riding with bro. He was like, he's from my city. And I was like,
that's right.
Damn, that's crazy, because me and him would beef on the street.
That's how it is here when you're an adult. Like when you hit the county and like prison when you become an adult.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I was like, damn, like, and even though he was like you know, from a separate gang, it was kind of like weird, you know.
Mm-hmm. So did you so you ended up doing that whole year there?
Yeah.
And what happened when you got out, or did you get transferred somewhere else?
No, I stayed there. Basically, like, just imagine staying in the county jail. And you're just watching everybody leave and come, and you're just standing there for a year. But it's like a kid county jail, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but were you like one of like the oldest? How many kids stood there that long?
It was like 4 of us.
Oh, okay.
So we would see them come and go, and then you got kids like fighting like you know, like armed robberies or murders or whatever. But they're waiting to go to prison, you know.
Got it.
So they're kind of just there. Like, we were basically all there. Where like, you know, everybody kind of knew everybody, but we would see like the people that come do 30 days in and out, you know, things like that. So after that, I ended up I 14 to 15, I did a year.
Wait,
Then,
what was the saddest thing you experienced that sticks to you as well? That you were like,
while I was in juvenile? At the time, I really, like, I think, yeah, you know, like your family, things like that. But I really wasn't on that. It was more like, this is why I call it Department of Connections. Because instead of corrections, it's connection. Because now I connected with you. You're from another town. You're from another town. You're from another town. And you rob, I rob, he robs. It's kind of like, well, we know we ain't gonna tell on each other, you know? So it's kind of like, if we get together, we, you know, as kids, you're like dumb.
okay.
So it's kind of like.
Mainly you didn't really experience anything sad.
Not really, not there. Like one of the fools that he was there, he ended up dying. They sent him to a Y or like YDC, which is like longer, like kind of like a kid prison. He ended up dying though. So they would tell us stories about them, like, hey, them fools down there, you know,
dying.
He died. But it really wasn't nothing like too sad, you know.
Okay, so you got out.
I got out.
You're like what? You're like 15.
I got out. I was 15. At the time, I was like, I ain't going to school no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna ask you, where did you go? Like, what did you do?
I didn't. So I had to have a meeting, even though I was already like in and out of alternative schools. There was like, look, because you're already like, they felt like I was a bad influence to other kids, which I probably was, you know. But to me, I liked alternative school, and a lot of people like, I liked alternative school better than regular school because the kids in alternative school
Or like you.
They were like me, you know. They already smoked weed. Some of them hit licks, not really, you know. Some of them, they were just into different things, you know. So it's kind of like, okay, like, I kind of belong over here, you know. Like, I don't belong in a regular school because I would go to regular school and I'd be like, I don't belong here, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these kids, some of these kids come from like, you know, good homes, good clothes, good shoes and shit like that. And I'm like, damn, my mom's struggling, you know. So when they talk about like, oh yeah, you know, we went to, you know, Six Flags or Wild Adventures, I don't have that kind of experience. So I'm like, nah, we be on the hood and I be trying to trap with my homies on the hood.
Yeah.
So the alternative school was more for like, where we fit in. Then like, so our alternative school is like for the whole county. So even though me and my cousins would grow up for different sides of towns, we was all there. So it'd be like, oh, well, that's my cousin too, or that's
at the alternative schools.
Yeah. So it'd be like 3 or 4 of us there, you know. So it's kind of like, to me, it was better. You know?
Felt more comfortable.
So I felt more comfortable. But when I was 15, so once I got out, I didn't go to school no more. Basically, they had a meeting, and it was like the border education dude. We had to go to his office and have a meeting. I told my mom straight up, I'm like, man, y'all no boy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're no boy. Like, this gasto de tiempo is wasting my time. Yeah. I'm like, because I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna get in trouble again. They're gonna take me back to jail. So I ended up leaving to Florida.
Okay. You're 16.
15.
15.
I ended up leaving to Florida. Of course, my mom was, you know, already sad, but I left. I left to Florida.
And who did you go with?
So this is the thing. So there was this broad down there, and I knew, I'm like, dang, I can get away. I can go stay with the broad, right? Like
You're
girl.
15, bro. How old was a freaking girl?
And she was like a little bit older than me, like 17, like 16, 17. So I was like, well, she was just staying with her mom though, you know, but her mom was cool though. Like, oh yeah, he's cool, you know. No, I was piping her, you know.
Oh my goodness.
So I ended up going down there. I stayed down there, and then I was just surviving off licks, right? So I'm going down there with a Georgia mentality, and I'm like, damn, Florida's sweet. I'm like, you know, they're leaving their cars open. I'm surviving off licks. That lasted like 6 months. I come back. I was like, man, I can't do this shit. You know what I'm saying? And coming back, came back to Georgia, and then another homie of mine, he was like, hey, fool, they're looking for you. Like, what was crazy was, because my mom didn't want me to go to jail, the probation, they was like, where is he at? And she was like, I don't know. They were like, well, you have to report him as a runaway. Like, you got to report him as if...
So that she don't get in trouble.
So she don't get in trouble, you know? So I was like, you know, do you? You know, like, you got to report me. So what they did were they were putting up flyers like missing. But,
missing kid.
Yeah, but I wasn't missing. I mean,
I get it.
So when that happened, like, I would go back to town and I would see like fools I know there, but like, fool, they're looking for you. Like, they say you're missing. I'm like, I don't know why they keep saying that, but I knew. So I was like, damn. So I ended up running to another homie. He was like, hey, I'm finna go to Texas, bro. Like, you want to come? And I was like, he's like, you're hot down here. You're too hot. And at the time, like, I would sell like work, but not like that. Like I would barely sell like an ounce or two of weed, breaking down, you know, just nickel and diamond, just trying to get by if I didn't hit a lick, you know? And so he was like, yeah, bro. He was like, well, over there is better. He was like, well, we ended up moving. Well, when he took me, we ended up going to the border, Laredo.
Oh,
So,
dang.
Yeah, so now it's like.
Now you're full of Mexicans.
Yeah, so now it's like full of Mexicans, right? So it's kind of like, but I went from seeing an ounce or two to now I'm seeing pounds, and it's at the border, you know, so this is like going down. But kind of same thing down there. I really didn't hit licks down there, but it was more like I got introduced to like a lot of things that like I was like, oh shit, like you can go big time, because I was probably like when after I was 15, I did like I said, I went to Florida a little bit, but I was like 16. Well, I was 15, 16 when I went to Laredo. I lived out there like almost like 8-9 months, something like that. But I was young, but they gave me a fake ID. They were like, bro, you gonna get a fake ID.
Oh shit.
We get to take you to the club. So I'm in the club, strip club. And pues ya son señoras, you know, even though I was already piping, but I'm sitting not kind of like nervous, you know, like, damn, it's the real deal, you know.
Oh shit.
So my homies, they would be like, ese güey tiene miedo de ella, tiene miedo,
no.
you know. So, you know, they're you know, they're
Yeah, because you're still a baby. You're a kid, bro.
So they're grown. So in my mind, I'm like, why is she gonna put it on me? You know, she's grown.
Pervert ladies, but they didn't know.
They didn't know. They thinking I'm just like
18.
I'm like an 18-year-old going in there, you know. But the fools I'm with are known. Like these fools known from pushing Halle.
Okay.
So they're basically like, you know, with this fool probably could be somebody heavy. You know, he's probably related to somebody que, you know, está pesado, you know, heavy. And so yeah, that was a totally different experience though. But then I remember one time like we was down there and a fool like my age, he was like, I was telling all the man, I need some weed. I'm trying to buy some weed. And he was like, how much you got? And I was like, shit, let me spend 100. Well, he was like, let me call somebody. So these fools calls another fool, and these fools pull up and they have a book bag, right? But I don't think nothing about it. He was like, what you gonna spend? I'm like, shit, like 100? He said, should I give you like a half? I'm thinking like a half a zip. I'm like, damn, you really taxing me, bro. I was like, fuck it. He was like, reach in the bag and grab it. I reached in the bag. It's like, it was Mexican brick weed, but it was like a half a pound. I was like, oh shit.
For 100.
For 100. And I'm like, this is a good ass deal. But he was like Reggie, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm still like, I could take this to Georgia. I'll make a fucking killing.
That's where your head was at already.
That's where my head was at already, because I'm already seeing what's going on, you know, like, I'm like, oh, this is like finna happen, you know, like I already know, I got a plan, I know what I'm finna do. So anyway, I tell the fool, I'm like, fool, I didn't know it was gonna be this much, you know, like, let me get $80. He was like, all right, fucking, you know, $80. And I was like, bro, I'm gonna keep your number, you know, like, I got, you know, I'm gonna keep coming back. But so I stayed down there for a little bit, and I met some people, and then I ended up leaving. We came back to Georgia. The person I was with, they was like, hey, fool, like, we should go back to Georgia, like, we're gonna make a killing over there, right? So I come back to Georgia, and I'm already like I was like the end of 16. And they're still looking for me and things like that. So the fool that I was with was like, hey, bro, when you turn 17, just turn yourself in and they're going to let you go. Like, because you're already an adult.
Gonna be
now,
an
right?
adult, yeah.
Because I need a driver. I need somebody with a license. I can't afford to have you drive.
You're a liability.
License. Yeah. So he's like, I can't afford to do that. And I was like, okay, cool. I turned 17. So I'm already over there, and he's up. They're already kind of putting me on, like, hey, fool, you need, you know, like, now I'm in town. So now they're like, we got the bags, we got whatever, you know. And so I was introduced to Scante as soon as I came home. But I never did it. Like, I ain't do no cold, Scante, none of that. I never did it. I just always grew up around it. So, but whenever I first came home out of prison, they kind of introduced, well, not prison, but the YDC, they introduced it to me like, the food, here's an 8-ball, bro, see if you can get rid of it. Well, I'm in the trailer park, all these foods are smokers. At the time, the gram was like $100. These foods like, look, give me $200 for the 8-ball. You know, you're going to make $150, $100 a gram. You're going to make a killing out here. But, so basically I got into that, you know? So then from there, like I was moving a little bit, like a pound or two a week, and I was moving probably like, not even a zip, probably like half a zip of Scante. And then 17, so I'm already kind of like making a little bit of bread, but not like that.
Yeah.
So 17.
More than the average 17-year-old.
More than the average 17-year-old. So 17, I turned myself in.
Okay.
I turned myself in. The police were like having like a field day. Like they were like, bro, I can't even believe. So I was like, I got my neck tattooed when I was 16. So they're like, oh man, I wouldn't even recognize you, you know, like, you know, just things like that. And they were like, bro, how'd you stay out of trouble so long? Like, we've been looking for you.
Like, and, by the grace of God.
Yeah. So I'm just like, nah, bro. So they're like, man, we knew your mom, like, you would be in there, huh? Because sometimes what they would do, they would go knock on my mom's door, like, every month. Probably, like, month, I think my mom would say. They would knock on her door and then be like, hey, have you heard anything about him? Have you seen anything? So they kind of knew my mom was hiding me, even though she wasn't, like, hiding me.
Yeah.
She just would still talk to me and tell them that she didn't talk to me. You know, she would be like, no, you know, I'm like on that, I don't know. My mom don't speak English. So she's like, no, me not speaking, you know. So I turned myself in. So now I'm grown. I'm 17. I mean,
in your head, you're like the fucking man.
Yeah, so I go to the YDC, the same YDC I've been going to, and they're like, damn, fool, you're grown as hell. Why are you still here? You know, why they bring you here? What I didn't know was because I'm committed to the state.
You had to go back.
They can hold me till I'm 21.
Oh, shit. Damn.
So I go to court. They're like, hey, you go to court. So all the staff, a lot of them know me. They're like, man, you're too grown to be here. You need to take you to the county jail, you know? But I go back, and then literally when I get in the holding tank, we sitting there for like, you know, waiting on to go to court. The bailiff comes, he's like, come on, you know, come on out. And I was like, okay, what's up? He's like, we're taking these off. He's like, first of all, I was like, taking them off. He's like, yeah, we're finna let you go. He was like, the judge basically said, like, I'm surprised you stayed out of jail 2 years.
So he was happy about that.
Basically, like, even though you was on the run, I'm surprised. Because, like I said, I was in and out from 11 to 14, in and out. I did a year, you know, so it was kind of like, he was like, dang, this fool stayed out of trouble, you know, like, you know, congratulations.
Yeah.
But he was like, hey, anything you do now, you're going to prison. So I was like, oh, yeah, whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I'm back at it.
But now you're cool.
Yeah, now I'm cool. Now I'm like, I got a license, I can drive, I can move around, you know?
Normal ass fool.
Yeah, so now it's like, the thing about it is I was already too deep in. Like, it was like, why would I get a job when I make this much, you know? Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I was introduced to the Escante, right? And I ended up moving in with one of my cousins, and he would be on Escante, you know?
Oh, no.
But we ran a Escante house. Like,
oh, shit.
Like a trap house, right?
Yeah.
So everybody in here does Escante, but me, I don't do it. But what I realized...
That's intense.
What I realized was I knew how to manage it. Like, this is like, y'all, this is what y'all want. Y'all want this, you know? So it's kind of like, okay... People would come there with whatever, like, because a lot of them would, they want Escante, you know? So it's kind of like they would do whatever. So it's kind of like, if you got guns, gold, whatever, I'll buy it. I'll trade you for Escante, right? So that's how I would make a killing, because a lot of them like, okay, so over there, it's like there's a lot of like military homes, because the town I'm from is like big military base. So people, when they break in houses, they find a lot of guns, you know, things like that. So I'm buying them all. So I'm like, oh yeah, here, you know, trade you this Escante for that. So if I give you a gram of Escante and I'm like, damn, this fool's a straight smoker, like he's a straight J. So I'm like, nah, I give him like a 0.5 Escante, you know.
Damn.
But, so anyways,
that's nothing, bro.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? But I would I was like bird feeding them, like we call it spoon feeding. But I'm the one making all the profit, because, you know, I'm spoon feeding you. But it's kind of like what you're giving me is like worth way more.
No, I understand completely.
So it's kind of like a jug, but because I didn't do it, I would peep game. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I did that for a little bit. Like, I kept doing it. And then it just doesn't mix whenever like when people are on Escante and you're not, because now these fools are shot out. They're like, you hear that? And you know, things like that.
I get it.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, so I realized like, because my cousin would call me like 2, 3 in the morning, like, hey, bro, you know, wigging out. And I'd be like, man, the first time I believed it, and I would go over there and I'd be like, man, there's nobody here. The dog's not working, you know, things like that. So I ended up making like a lot of good bread doing that. And I was really, really flashy. Like, because
you look like a flashy ass fool.
Yeah, you know, I'm flashy. I was real flashy, right? And so over there, the big thing are big rims on cars. So I wanted the biggest rims, nice car, like the old school cars, Jeep body Cutlass, but I wanted big wheels on it.
Is that the picture of the one you have on your Instagram?
No, I have another one.
Okay.
I had another one.
That was another one. Okay.
That's when I came home. It's crazy. I don't know why I kept doing that. But so I ended up doing that, right? And I was going to all like the black neighborhoods. Like, they didn't like me, but they were like, oh, that's Migo. Like, that's Migo with the work. Like, I remember when he was nothing, you know, like, that fool just caught a plug and just took off, right? But I'm going to their hoods, their parties, and I would flex basically. Like, remember fools would laugh at me in school because I didn't have nice shoes and shit. Like, so y'all would laugh at me and shit like that, right? So now it's like my turn laughing at y'all, but I'm barely 18 though. So at the time I'm like 18. So now I'm laughing at them like, y'all fools still in school. The ones that dropped out, like, you barely trap out an ounce, you know, like. So I'd kind of like do that. Well, one day the smoker gets caught. It was a group of them. One day one of the smokers get caught and basically telling me like, hey, they're like, where? Because I guess they pushed the issue about guns. They were like, where is the guns that you sold? Like, the guns that you took from that house, where is it at? They were like, I gave it to the Mexican dude with the green car. Well, I'm the only Mexican dude that has the big green car with the rims, you know? My house get hit. Boom, they raided it. They ended up raiding the house. They came for a warrant just for me, though. But they said they seen scales. I know that for sure. They said it smelled strong odor of marijuana. They're like, we're finna raid it. I was like, damn. Well, I had Scante in there, had guns. I got caught with some money. I was 18 at the time. So basically, they picked all of us up, right? So I did 2 years in the county jail. I was 18.
Okay, well, this is your first time going to the county jail.
Well, no, hold on. Let me backtrack. I got arrested again when I was, before this, I was 18, right? I traded somebody, Scante, for a dirt bike. And so I knew these fools had hit the dirt bike shop, right? So I'm like, this bitch brand new. You know, I need that. I need that. So I'm selling it, right? So basically, I pull up. I go to sell it. The detectives were already looking for it. It just so happens to be these fools happen to ride by. They pull up and they're like, hey, where'd you get that dirt bike from? I'm already selling to another gabacho. I'm selling it. He's here with his car trailer and everything. Like, we're finna get ready to load it on there. I'm like, dang, these fools pull up. I'm like, it's mine. Why? What's going on? It's two gabachos. But they look normal. So I'm like, well, what's going on? You want to buy it or what? And then these fools are like, no, I'm Detective such and such. And they're like, we's looking for that. That got hit from the bike shop. Like, we've been looking for that. And I was like, so the gabacho I'm selling it to, like, what? And
no.
I was like, hey. And so now allegedly they said it was me. He's like, give me the key to the dirt bike. I was, they don't got no key. And he was like, that's how you know it's stolen. He trying to like put the press on me. Like, that's how you know it's stolen. Got no key. He reads the VIN off the serial. And he was like, this is it. He was like, yeah, this is it right here. So he grabs it, right? But when he grabbed it, I was like, nah, let me show you like how it don't have no key, but let me show you how I started. This fool lets me get on it. He's over with. Crank it up, I mashed out. The senora whose house I was at, she ended up telling on me. They were like, who's the Mexican dude that was on the dirt bike? Who's the Mexican dude? And she was like, oh, it's this fool, like this fool. She told me, right? But she was like a senora. She was a smoker. We just would use her house to like
do your shit.
Just do shit. Like, like we want to stash it here. We want to do whatever. She ended up telling on me. So I ended up getting pulled over in the car, like the green car. Everybody knew who I was. So I'm driving like a day later. They pulled me over. They're like, you got a warrant. So I'm like, for what? They're like, grand theft auto or like stealing dirt bike, right? So I'm like, man, that's not me. They're like, no, you fool. So I go to county jail. It's my first time going to county jail. So again, I probably get booked. Got pulled over at night, like 9. I go through intake, get booked.
But how was the experience though? Like just walking in, even going through the intake process?
So in the county jail, there's not raza either.
Damn.
So
where's all the raza?
It's like they're paisas, they're not like homies. Like they don't look like me. So it's kind of like it's rare. Like you may kind of see them, So I get there and then they're like, they kind of see my tattoos a little bit and they're like, hey, like you bang, huh? Like, but the chota sees that. They're like, hey, you're a gangbang. And I'm like, nah. And they were like, yeah, you got to wait till like 6 a.m. till the gang fool get here. And then we're going to see where we're going to put you at. So the gang fool gets there and he's like, oh, you're such and such. He was like, what's crazy is I knew about you since a juvenile. He said, because there's not too many y'all down here. He was like, but I've been waiting on you. Like, and I was like, that's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I was like, nah.
That's not nice.
I was like, nah, fool. He's like the gang fool there, right? And I was like, nah. He was like, let me put you over here. So they ended up putting me in a dorm. There's one other raza in there. And he's like a paisa. He's not really, I'm not gonna say like some paisas go hard, but
there's a gang of paisas.
Yeah, they go hard, a lot of them. But it's kind of like
It's not the same.
He's not the same. You know, he's not.
Like, it's not like he's not, he doesn't look like you. He's not, I understand completely. And I'm sure the people understand as well.
Yeah, it's not like they don't have to look like me, you know, but he's just kind of like somebody just ain't going for it. Just food like too nice, you know, like they might be like, oh, you know, because like I said, I was already used to the YDC, so I'm like, hey, food, like, that fool getting your chips, bro, is like highly disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I see what you're saying.
He owes me a bag of chips, but he wants another bag of chips and not paying me. And I'm like, what? Like, you know, but he's kind of like scary. But I'm like, so I ended up doing like 2 weeks in the county jail.
And that's how it was, like those 2 weeks.
Yeah, basically. But like, so in those 2 weeks, as soon as I hit the dorm, a lot of the fools know me who I am, even though I don't know them, but they're like, that's the Migo with the plug, you know, like he's a plug, you know? So over there, they're kind of like, oh, Migo, you know, put me on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these fools are trying to like, just like,
be cool with
be cool with me, you know, things like that. My roommate, he was a Scante warrior.
Scante
so
warrior.
he's kind of telling me like, we don't say Scante over there. Like over here, you know, it's big, but over there we don't say Scante warrior. Like fool's geek monster, tweaker. But this fool was ended up being tweaker, right? And so, you know, he's kind of telling me like, oh yeah, fool, like good thing you came around, you know.
Scante warrior is like a fool's gone wild thing.
Yeah, the who's gone wild. And so yeah, so a lot of fools trying to be cool. They didn't give me a bond at first. I had to go to court. They gave me a bond like 2 weeks later. Well, I bonded out. I got bread. You know, I said, well, holla. So I bonded out like nothing. And then probably like a month goes by and I get busted for same thing. Well, I got picked up. They came to my house and picked me up because the Scante warrior got caught and basically told me I'm selling all the guns to this fool. He's trading me. Holla.
Back to that story. Yeah.
So then I got picked up on that. They were like, we're gonna raid the house. They were like, it's over with. Like. So I ended up getting raided. Well, I get hit with traffic and meth, the gang charge. That shit's all over the news. Like hella guns, the money. So they were like...
And you were 19 by now?
I was 18.
18, okay.
I was finna turn 19 like in a week. And they tell me, they're like, hey, they're trying to investigate, right? So they're like, we believe... You know, they always make it look bad than what it is. So they're like, hey, we believe he's like tied to some kind of cartel, basically, right? Because they don't see... Raza over there, they're kind of like, oh, well, he's fool's cartel, you know? And even though I wasn't, it's just kind of like, he is. And so that happened, and then, so I'm in the county jail, and I got like 6 co-defendants, like 5. 2 of them are girl, and like, they're all black and white, you know, like, so I'm in the county jail.
You're the only Mexican.
I'm the only Raza. So I fought my case for 2 years. So I see, like about a year goes by. So
in these 2 years, you didn't bail out, or you didn't have bail. You had to stay in the county.
I had to stay there because it's a danger to society.
And this is your first time in the county doing this long term.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it was kind of the same thing. Like there's no raza, barely. I might catch raza here and there, but it was like if you catch them, they won't be there long. They didn't do nothing serious.
Okay. There's no homies like you.
There's no. Unless they're like my homies, like from my town, or I met like a homie from Atlanta, you know, things like that. But they were just like coming by, stopping by, and dipping, you know, like they got pulled over with no license or something like that.
Got it.
But a lot of these fools are in there. I sold work to a lot of them. Not just I was just like some big dope dealer. It's just like these fools. I either grew up with them, or either like they would be like, hey, this Migo with the work, you know, like. Ask them what's up, you know, with the plug, or what's up with the numbers, or, you know, they see me around, or they know their homies, I served their homies before, or, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
And so I did 2 years there. I didn't really get into it like that, like, because a lot of these fools knew me. So I didn't really get into it like that.
And was anybody there for you?
Oh, yeah, my mom, my sister, you know, they would come visit me and things like that.
What about any girls? Did you have any pen pals in those 2 years? Why are you smiling like that?
so we don't consider them pen pals.
What do you consider them?
It's like, well, it's because we don't even really write them. So in the county jail, I didn't write nobody, right?
Okay, but they pulled up to visit.
It's because they're so strict. You can't be a felon, and you know, most of them probably get in trouble. And then the things like they gotta be like on the visitor list. But I'm already kind of being investigated because they want to see like
who's coming, who's around you.
So I would be like, nah, you know, like nah, it's just not, it's not cool.
But you would talk to the girls on the phone.
No, because the phone records you. But because I was. Like I said, you know, at the end, they don't have Spanish officers, maybe one. Well, guess what? When they need a translator, call him. They would call me out, right? But in the front intake, you don't, because, okay, whenever you use the phone there, I'm pretty sure here too, you got to put like your code in and then like a password and it's like your account with your money. When I go translate up front, they'll be like, you want to use the phone? I was like, yeah. And it was free minutes. I didn't have to put no code in, you know?
So your calls weren't being recorded.
Calls weren't being recorded. So I would call, right? So then I chop it up a little bit.
Okay.
And sometimes the places would come in. They would still have their phone. I'd be like, hey, bro, send this text out for me. You know, and they'd be like, no. I'm like, see, you know? Like, send it out for me. And they'd be like, okay.
Wait, they could bring their phones in?
So this is the thing about it, an intake, right? So I'm translating for him. I'm like, hey, he said...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I would hit the finesse. Hey, he said he needs his phone to get his wife's number out so she can bail him out. They would give him the phone. I would be like, hey, bro, this is the number you're going to text, you know? Such. Tell him this. And some places would do it. Some would be scared. And the ones that... I wasn't trying to scare them, but the ones that would kind of like play like, man, I'm not doing that for you. I'd be like, wait till we get to the back. You know?
Damn, fool.
But I'm saying, but it's like, I'm looking out for you.
That's your job. That's what you gotta do. It's different.
Like, come on, fool. Like, look out for me. But, you know, some of them were cool. Bro, one time the guy gave me his phone and the chota was like, didn't even know. And I could have wagged all the way to the back. But then we get powdered out everywhere we go, right? So sometimes they hit you with a metal detector. And I'm like, damn, am I going to fuck up what I got going on right now? Like, I get the free calls?
Yeah.
Or am I just going to wing out with his phone? I bet you I can make it. And I was like, nah, fuck you. I was a little bit just send his text out, you know?
Yeah.
And
better that way.
Yeah, because I didn't want to fuck up. I'd rather longevity of me keep riding out the phones and do it, like, move how I can move instead of, like, I just cut it all off right now. Because I don't know how long I'm doing in county jail.
For sure.
I did 2 years. Well, by the year in, all my co-defendants go to court.
But not you?
Yeah, but I didn't go to court. But then my lawyer comes and they're like, hey, so what they're doing is all of them going to court. But they get like 2 to 3 years. 2 of the girls got out. There's got the words too. They got out. They did like a couple months in jail. The rest, we all go to prison. But these fools it's 2 white dudes and a mixed dude. Well, he's black. But the mixed dude gets 3 years. The 2 white dudes get 2 years, right? So I was like, they're going to give me like 5 years, you know? Like, these fools they ain't got that long. So I do like a whole nother year. But while we're in there, because a lot of the fools knew me, like, one of the fools I used to work to happened to be in the dorm with one of the other fools. I'm like, hey, fool, tell him that he knows that I didn't... So, like, he knows that I didn't break in that lady's house. So, basically, what they were doing is, like, every gun that came from somebody's house or car, they were trying to give it to me, like, the same charge.
Oh.
And I was like, bro, like, I got work. I got caught with money. I got caught with like $17,000. I'm like, I don't need to break in nobody's house. Like, you knew that I didn't break in this lady's house. You're just saying that because
you want less time.
You want more charges, you know? Or the police wanted more charges on me, but the fools ended up keeping it real though. Like, they basically were like, nah, that fool didn't break in the house. Like, we was giving us content for it, you know? Even though that's what their story was from the get-go. And so they ended up going to prison. I'm still in county jail. So I go to trial like 2 years later.
Oh, so you took it to trial.
I went to trial.
Tell me about your trial experience.
I went in there and my lawyer was like, hey, they got a plea for you. You really accept it?
You're 20 by now.
I'm 20. They were like, you willing to accept the plea? And I was like, what's the plea? He was like, 45 to 25. I got a kid on a gang charge, right? He's like, 45 to 25. He's like, but just think about it. You know, your first time, you can parole. I said, man, tell him to crank it up. Tell him to crank it up. I ain't going. He's like, I didn't think you were going to go. I was like, no, tell him to crank it up. They were like, okay. Monday, you're going to pick your jury. And I was like, your jurors, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, crank it up. So now that I know behind the scenes, like, it's all set up, to be honest. It's all set up. So I tell them, I'm like, Monday comes, right? We're supposed to pick the jurors. I tell them, I ain't going. I'm like, I feel sick. I don't want to go. They're like, oh, take it to medical. Because they escort you. But you go to court, you got to be shackled up, escort you. And they take me to medical. They're like, oh, we're going to give you like this half a pill to calm down. It's just you're nervous, I'm like, all right. So I go in there. And the thing about jurors, right? But I didn't know none of this. I went to trial. Like, now I'll be like, damn, man, that's just a setup, bro. Like, it's probably not good,
Don't do it.
So, I wasn't going to take the 45 to 25 anyways. I'm like, nah, y'all crank it up. We go in there, and then if the DA says... So I'm thinking whenever you pick jurors, it's like, okay, the DA says no to him, then I want yes to him. Like, he gets to pick, then I get to pick. No, it's not like that. The DA picks first every time. So if the DA says, yeah, we'll take her, then they'll be like, do y'all want to take her? You either say yes or no. But if the DA says no, that means no, you ain't getting a yes or no on him.
Got it.
And I didn't know that, right? But anyways, most of the jurors are like black and white. There's like one Hispano on there, right? And I'm like, I need him, you know, like I need him. And then my lawyer said, look, bro, this can go both ways. He can be one of them fools, because he worked on base, like the military base. He was like, he can be one of them fools that, you know, you're making me look bad because you're Hispano. Mm-hmm. Or he can be like, I'm going to look out for him. Mm-hmm. I'm like, bro, I'm going to roll the dice. We need him. So the DA was like, yeah, take him. And my lawyer was like, well, you know, we'll take him, you know? And some of the jurors, they were like, so whenever you're getting ready to pick your jurors, they're like, you know, they ask them a bunch of questions. Do you have any relatives locked up? Do you have any relatives that's been in prison? How do you feel about gang members? And some of them were like, we hate gang members. We hate that they're in town. So I'm like, yeah, not them, because they're finna fry me, you know? And so we ended up picking the jury. And they were like, hey, your jury trial starts, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. So we're in trial. Another thing, they all work together. I didn't really even, like, I knew that because I would hear people say it, but so my lawyer is on Facebook. Like, this fool literally showed me, we're on trial. He's like, look at these puppies, bro. And he showed me like puppies on Facebook. Like, they're nice, ain't they? And I'm like, fool, you're on my trial. Like, my life's on the line and you're showing me pictures of puppies. And at the time I was like, should I just punch on this fool, you know? Because I'm not chained up. I'm in trial. I'm in a suit and tie, you know? So I'm like, should I just punch on this fool, you know? So I started thinking like, man, this fool like really tried me, you know? Mm-hmm. And so basically, you know, they're calling people to stand. They're showing the jurors the guns, whatever, and they're telling things like that. So one of the lieutenants that was investigating the case of like the drugs, after he got done testifying, right? He walks down the aisle and my lawyer tells him, like, I see you on Saturday's game. And he's like, I see you there. But they play golf together. These fools play golf together, you know, they hang out. Mm-hmm. They're all friends, you know.
They're all friends.
I was like, damn, you know, like, it's over with. So, basically, I do trial, 3 days. They find me guilty on some charges and some charges not. Like, they find me guilty of breaking this lady's house. There's no evidence. They find me guilty of breaking this lady's house. They don't find me guilty of taking the truck that was there at the house. So I was like, what? And then they found me guilty of the trafficking meth, marijuana, things like that, all the guns. And then the gang charge, they acquitted it because the only person that was trying to say I was a gang member was the gang guy from the county. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't get locked up with no other gang members. These fools are white.
You always been by yourself.
I'm by myself, you know, like, even though y'all know that there's certain other gang members from town, but there's no evidence. The only evidence I had was I got a big 13 on me, you know? So they were like, that's him, you know, like, he's a gang member. And I was like, but there was nothing gang, because my lawyer was saying, like, there's nothing gang affiliated with this. And they were basically like, oh, we're still charging with it. But I got acquitted. And basically, I got acquitted of that. And thank God for that one, boy, because they were going to fry me. Well, they did fry me. So I went to trial.
Not that fried. You're home, bro. You're home.
Yeah, most definitely, by the grace of God, you know. Mm-hmm. But the sentence they gave me. So before trial started, they said, you do know you're facing 108 years. If you look me up, it says that, like, you know, 18-year-old facing 108 years. And I was like, they were like, if you don't take the plea, we can give you up to 108 years. And I'm like, bro, I'm not taking the plea. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, you know, that's crazy for me to do that. Why would I sign for 45, do 25 on a gang charge? That means it's going to be violent. So then I end up lose trial. I go to trial, lose trial. And then the way they did it was I didn't get sentenced right then and there. They were like, we're going to sentence you, like, you know, next court.
I think you come back for sentencing date.
I came back. And this is all over the news. There's a video of me when they sentenced me. They were like, the judge basically was like, the way I see it is, you got drug crimes, and then you got, like, you know, the gun charges, and then you got, like, the burglary charges, things like that. Like, we're going to sentence you to 50, serve 30 years. I had that video. And that we're going to sentence you to 50, serve 30 years consecutive. 15 consecutive 15. That means you're going to do your first 15, and then you're going to start. If you were to parole out on your first 15, you're going to start on your second 15.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
So I was like, damn, you know, like, these fools just fried me, you know? So then my lawyer's like, oh, man, bro, you still got parole, you know? Like,
just trying to pump it up all cool.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, no, these fools just tried me, you know? So I'm like, oh, well, you know? And
yeah, you're definitely going through it in your head mentally.
So now I'm going. Obviously, I knew I was going to prison, you know. So I had already had homies in prison, so I kind of was already like, ya me dieron escuela. They already had gave me school. Like, look, bro, when you go to prison, it's gonna be like this, like that.
But how many years did you get sentenced to?
50 to 30 years.
50 to 30
years.
years.
And I told my lawyer, I said, bro, I'm barely 20. I'm like, and you're telling me, because he was trying to like make it like, you can got parole. You know, I said, bro, them folks just gave me 15. I can parole out.
And they
And
get
then
picked
I
up
got to do
again.
the other 15 like to start. And he was like, yeah, man, but you're still young, you know, like, I like, bro, I haven't even lived 30 years, you know, like, I've been in here since I was 18, you know? And he just was like, oh, well, you know, we can go on appeal. This is this. You will give me more money, obviously. And I was like, damn, you know, like, I was like, fuck, you know, I fucked up. And so I go back to the dorm, right? So when we're going back, that's why I say it's already set up. The police already know you're finna get sentenced to big time because they'll have like a group of them waiting for you after you get sentenced.
To see how your reaction when you get back.
Yeah, so basically, I got sentenced. They escorted me back out. So because I translated, a lot of the trucks out there knew me. Like all the police there knew me. A lot of the guards, and I'm walking on the way back, and then a lot of them knew. They were like, "Bro, that's messed up what they did." But like, oh, your co-defendants got like 2-3 years, like they just fried you. So they take you to intake. They do like a 24-hour watch, and it was a sergeant, a black dude, and he knew me. He was like, "What happened, man?" You know, like he already knew what happened. He just wanted to see what happened. Like, what happened? I was like, "Bro, I lost," you know. I just, cause I was behind like the glass, he was like, what happened? I was like, bro, I just took a L, you know, like lost, you know. And he comes and he's like, hey bro, like you just lost the battle, you didn't lose the war, you know.
That's right.
And at the time I was like, man, fuck this, you know.
Yeah.
He was like, you lost the battle, you didn't lose the war, you know, like dang you like sentence though, you know. And I was like, he's like, even if you were to do the whole thing, you still get out and you're like 50. But still, you know, it's kind of like,
you're like 20 fucking listening,
like,
hearing
damn,
this.
Boy, I'm like, so he's like, look, bro, we're supposed to keep you up here for 24 hours. You good though? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. He was like, because it's like, once you get a lot of time, they're supposed to keep you in intake for like 24 hours.
To watch your
to
behavior.
make sure like you're not going to just
yourself.
psych out or hurt yourself. And I said, yeah, bro, I'm good. I get back to the dorm and basically, you know, everybody kind of knows, you know. So, but people know, but like the police know, you know. So people are like, what happened, bro? I'm like, bro, I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And then, so after that happened, the newspaper, we get newspapers, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, the newspaper hits and they're like, damn, that food got fucking fried, you know? Like the next day, they're like, that food got fried, you know? So, you know, people are like, damn, bro, you know, like, bro, I know you think your time's bad. Like, fools that already been to prison, they're like, I know you think your time's bad, bro, but you're going to go down there and you're going to meet fools that got 3 life sentences, you know? You might meet fools that are going to death row. You might meet all kind of people, bro, you know? So I'm just
trying to make you feel...
Yeah, trying to make you feel better, you know? And I was like, I tell the sergeant, I was like, bro, when am I leaving, you know? Like, to Chang game, he was like, you about a week. You're like, guaranteed, because they don't want me there.
Yeah, they want to get you out already.
Because they're like, nah, this fool, he's going to... You never know. He's unpredictable. He's just got a lot of time. But that was also my boot game, too. Like, when I mean boot game is because I would tell the trucker, like, bro, you know how long I got? And then they'll be like, nah, fool, like, just chill. And I'll be like, I got a long time. I'm not going home. Like, what are you going to do?
To get your weight type shit?
Yeah, to get my weight type shit, right? So I'll be like, no, I'm not going home. Like, who gives a fuck? I'm not going home. And then they'll be like, just chill. So these fools would call, like, the sergeants and shit, and they'll be like, wait, like, this fool already... So I had a bunkmate. I didn't want that bunkmate. And I was like, I don't want this fool. Like, he's getting the fuck out of the room. And they were like, nah, he can't get out the room. I said, yeah, he is. Like, watch, he's getting the fuck out the room. And basically the bunkmate was like, nah, he's trying to keep me out the room, this, and all. Like, man, you're not coming in, you know? And basically they were like, kind of give me my way because they knew that I had a lot of time. But they got rid of me quick, like in a week.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, get this fool up out of here, you know? Mm-hmm. So we hear all these stories about prison. And you don't really know. And if anybody tells you they're not nervous about prison, that's a lie. Like, everybody's nervous about prison.
Yeah. How did you feel when they picked you up and when you got on the bus ride to prison?
Okay, we ride in vans, right?
Vans, okay.
Yeah, like the paddy wagons vans, right? So, basically they get everybody's going to prison. All these fools don't got no time. I'm the only one with a long time, you know. These fools, I got 2 years and such and such. I'm just like, yeah, bro, you know what I mean? I don't want to hear that, you know? And they cover us all up. The ride's about an hour away. We're going to diagnostics. Diagnostics is like the prison where everybody has to go through to see what other prison you're going to.
It's kind of like a reception.
Your reception. Y'all call it reception, right? So we get there, And they're telling us like, hey, fool, this prison's wild, bro. You know, like this prison's like the probably wildest prison you want to go to.
And this is in Atlanta, in Georgia as well?
Yeah, in Georgia, right?
Okay.
Because I did state time. And it's called Jackson State Prison. That's where the death row is held at. It's like where like a lot of the fools are held there, you know? Mm-hmm. So I get there, we get off, and we're in line. There's a bunch of people were in line, but all different counties, right? We're still shackled up. And then the police is basically there. He's like, hey, welcome to Jackson State Prison, where some of you gonna make it and some of you ain't. And I thought it was crazy. I wasn't laughing at the time, but I'm like, damn, you know, but now I'm seeing raza, now I'm seeing homies, you know?
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, like, you're not really banging on each other, but it's kind of like, you might throw up an ass and see if he's a homie, like, you know, and then he might throw ass back and they're like, okay, he's a homie, you know? And then, because also over there, you got a lot of like Hispanos that are in black gangs. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them being like in black gangs, so you kind of got to be cautious of that, you know? So, but anyways, we're in line, you know, we got to do the get naked, you know, they shower you, and then you get a haircut. But whenever
you have to get a haircut.
You got to get a haircut after you get a shower.
Oh, shit. So everybody has short hair.
Everybody's bald head.
Okay.
Bald head, only mustache. No beard or nothing, right?
Okay.
But we're in line. The gang unit, he's from the prison. He was like, hey, fool, your crib? And I was like, nah. But I got MOE on my neck, so...
MOE is a gang.
No, MOE is like money over everything, but because Bloods use MOB over there...
Okay.
The Crips use MOE. But it stands for money over everything.
Okay.
Well, for me.
Yeah.
And I got a big 13 on me, right? So he was like, you Crip? And I was like, nah. He was like, oh, I know. He looks at me like 13. He's like, oh, I know what you are. You been to prison? I was like, nah. He's like, well, you better boot up and get you a knife. And I was
like, oh my God.
Yeah, right? So I was like, okay, cool, you know, but you got to tell them like, yes, sir, no, sir. Like, them fools beat the shit out of you, you know? Like, I know fools thinking like, oh, nah, I go in there and I smack. Bro, these fools beat the shit out of you. It's
different
you know what I'm saying?
over
like,
there, I'm sure.
Yeah, like, it's like search team, like when riots and shit happen, these are fools are there, you know, like, and there's no winning, you know, but this is police though. But he's a gang dude, you know, so then he was like, boom, we everybody go shower, it's like the prison shower too, like shower, no curtain. You gotta hurry up and shower real quick, they spray you down with this thing, and you get a haircut. One of the dudes, so there's a bunch of barbers, right? One of the dudes, I know him from the county jail, he's a barber. He says, hey, come in my line, you know, I'm getting a haircut. He's a black guy. He says, I'm finna find out what dorm you're going to. He's like, bro, but you don't want to go to A or B house. Them the worst, you know? So I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, but I'm going to find out for you. He was like, did you bring any change or anything? If you brought property, I can get it back to you, you know? But I didn't. So I'm like, even though I know him, it's kind of like, nah, fuck that fool, you know?
I'm not giving nobody my shit.
Then, you know, you're somebody else, you know? Like, you're African-American, you know? So I know I don't ride with you, you know? And, so basically, we go. It's like you got to go to the gym, and it's like you got to do like all the paperwork, your laboratory, thing like that. You're gonna be in there for like 8 hours, and he comes back. He's like, "Hey, I know what dorm you're going to." He was like, "But don't panic." Like he was like, "Don't panic, fool." Like there's some. They call them Migos, but he's like, "There's some Migos over there, you know." And he was like, "You're going to A house." The fool told me A house or B house the worst ones. I was like, "Porque ni modo," you know. Mm-hmm. So. We going in, and the first hit the dorm, it looks like San Quentin. Like, I never been to San Quentin, but just by the movies, you know, like it's bars, like pura barra, right? So you walk in, so then you got like Bloods, Crips, GDs, you know, they're all saying their call. You hear whistling. So I'm like, okay, these are some homies, you know, but I don't see nothing but like.
How's the whistle? Let me hear it.
you hear whistling, right? And you go to the back. I went to the back. They're like, look, your room's up top. Go to the back, up top. So I go to the back up top. And I hear the whistle again. And I whistle back at him, right? And he's like, hey, but they're kind of, it's bars, right? So he's like, hey, you homie? And I'm like, Simon, I'm a homie. And then he's like, hey, well, look, such, you know, nice to meet you, such. He's like, we're finna get ready to come out. He's like, there's not that many homies here, fool. And I was like, okay, cool. He was like, you're in the room next door. I'm like 2 cells down. Some more, and with some black guy, you know, in there. And
your celly,
yeah,
your first celly.
But he's an orderly. He gets to run around. So this fool gets to come out. He said, look, your celly's cool, eh? He was like, he gets to run around, you know what I'm saying? Like, so they'll pop your door. So basically we come out, the homies go chopping it up. Over there, we didn't have too many metal fierros because in that prison, because you got to go keep going through metal detectors.
Oh, dang.
So it's like plastic, like plexiglass. And he's like, we come out. He's like, there's a couple homies, you know. He was like, so I meet all the homies and they're all like from different hoods. But it's when I realized like a lot of homies from Atlanta, they kind of like, not that they didn't like me, it's just like this food from the country, you know, like this food from the country. And but you know, adopt them up and everything. We would like walk together as a child, things like that. Hit rec yard together, but it really wasn't nothing like. Even though diagnostics is wild, it's not really like when I was there at the time. It was kind of more like lockdown because too many people were dying, so they were trying to like lock it down as much as possible. And then I did like a month there. Nothing really. See me, they don't fierro. Like obviously I had a fierro place. He's like, well, you're gonna need it.
Yeah.
And obviously we hit the. So then the way it was set up for showers was crazy because it's like they let a tier off. It's like 2, 3, 4. It's like 4 tiers and then 4 tiers on the other side. So they would let 1 tier off at a time. Well, there's only one other raza on my tier, which he was the homie. So we would be the only ones hitting the shower. Like when it's time to shower, obviously we shower in the boxers. It's like prison showers, like shower, you know. So but like obviously we shower in the boxers, you know. So boom, shower real quick. Let's go. Then let's get up out of here. And so it was like a month. After that, they give you call outs, these papeles, and the call outs like basically telling you like where you going, like
the prison you're gonna go.
Yeah, basically you're getting transferred. They don't tell you the prison you're going to yet. So we, you know, pack all the things out. I'm like, homie, I'm gone. You know, like obviously I give him the fierro back. I'm like, here, you know, it's a recycling door. Pass it to the next homie. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, hey, fool, boom, I'm gone. Next thing you know, so I get in line. So like I said, there's not too many raza there, so it wasn't really no raza shipping out with me. We're in line, and then they get us in alphabetical order. They were like, hey, basically such. And then they get my name. He's like, Calhoun State Prison. The fool in front of me goes, oh, shit.
What was it called?
Calhoun State Prison.
Okay.
But he was like, oh, shit. And I was like, damn. I was like, you in there? He was like, I just left. He was like, I'm on parole violation. He was like, but you're raza, you're Migo. Like, you're straight. Gonna be a bunch of Migos. Migos got the camp, right? So everywhere, in any camp in Georgia, they're always gonna say that. And I hate that they say that because it's not true. They be like, oh, Migos got it. Like, Migos got the camp. You know, like, Migos got the weight on there. So.
But there's not even that many Migos.
In prison, there are.
Okay.
But not like over here. Like, over here, you might, well, from what the homies I talk to, they're like, these fools be super deep.
Yeah.
You know, like, homies be, like, packed out over here. Like, over there, over there, on the whole prison compound might be, like, 10 homies.
Oh, shit.
You see what I'm saying? But it's, like, hella paisas, though. But well, I'm getting to that. But, obviously, we ride together with them, you know? But, so, they, like, Calhoun State Prison. So, then I'm like, damn, boom. So, we get on the bus. So, some of the people are already there. Some people are already there. Well, this one, so we wear, in our prison, it's a white shirt, white and button-down shirt with a blue stripe, and white pants with a blue stripe. You might see on TikTok, because our prisons are highly on TikTok and Instagram, you know.
Easy access to phones.
Yeah, so there's nothing over there. And that's crazy. If you Google Georgia prisons, you're going to see, like, the majority of videos on there are Georgia prisons. But, so, basically change out. Well, some of these fools have jumpsuits on. Well, they're shackled. Well, they don't have the belt loop. Well, this is when I see the fool in front of me. They bust the belt loop right there. Se arrancan the belt loop because it's like the chain goes through there. And now they pull the shackles down. Now they have a lock in their hand. I'm like, damn, this fool was a pop off. We're on the bus.
Oh, shit. I'm like, getting whacked in the face. Off,
we're like this, you know? But luckily, like, he, like, you know,
it was
whatever, he didn't do nothing. Like, even though, like, I didn't know him, we didn't have problems that time. You just never know what camp they're coming from. Like, they might have just got stabbed by raza or, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that happened, and then we get to the prison. They're like, who is such? I'm like, you know, me, right? They're like, y'all stand in the back. I said, what the fuck? And then they're like, all y'all gang members. Like, y'all already validated, your gang members, such. We're taking a picture of your tattoos or whatever, right? Okay, cool. They get our things together. And then there was a Cuban dude that worked up front. So I'm like...
I said it.
So... a Cuban dude worked up front. They tell me, like, you're going to D-dorm, right? So he's like, well, you don't want to go over there. But at the time, I'm 18, so I'm thinking, like, because my homies in prison are like, fool, don't let them
No, you're 20 now.
I'm 20, right? But
18,
since I was 18,
yeah,
the homies were telling me, like, bro, you're not, don't let them scare you. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes they'll try to play this boot game on you, try to scare you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I'm thinking that's what he's trying to do. Literally, he's really trying to help me though. He's like, fool, you don't want to go in there. And I'm like, no, I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going in
Well, I
there.
mean, you have no choice. Or can you refuse?
Yeah, you can. You can be like, nah, my people ain't over there. Like, I'm straight, you know? Like, I ain't going in there. Like, I'm going to die in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Georgia prison, the way it's set up, is not like...
Like over here, you can't refuse.
Over here, you can't refuse? Okay, so let me ask you this, though. If there's no homies in there, you have to go in there? Like, if there's no raza? That's the thing. Y'all don't have that over there. Over there, we might have a ride with, like, the blacks, and it's straight black dorm. And it's kind of... All these fools got fierros waiting for you at the window. So it's kind of like... What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously the homies, they don't trip about it. Like, nah, fool, like, you need to go where homies are at, like, or where paisas are at. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like, even though people might say, but they're scary. Like, nah,
but I think like the cops already know over here though. So it's like,
that's the thing about it. I'm gonna say too though, over there they don't separate you. Like, so they just had a ride. What I didn't know was they just had a ride with the raza, right? It was three raza in the dorm. They basically stabbed them up. They took their phone, right? I didn't know that. So they were like, you don't want to go in there for, and I'm like, no, I'm going. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
So I go in. It's like 2 weeks after the ride. I go in there, and basically, boom, it's an open dorm. I don't like open dorms, so open dorm. I go in there, and then place your bed, you know, boom. So my bunkmate Sally, because it's an open dorm though, so I'm on top, you on the bottom. He's a blood. He was like, hey, bro, you don't want to be in here, you know? And I was like, I'm thinking he's trying to scare me. He said, you don't want to be in here, bro. He was like, I'm a blood, and I'm telling you, bro, like, you don't want to be in here for
move.
It's finna go down, you know? And I was like, I ain't going, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't going. So I see like they all gathered up and shit, and they pull up on me. They're like, you can't be in here, you know, you're Mexican, such. And I was like, well, we can shoot a one, you know? Like, and they're like, no, I ain't no ones. These people show me fierro, like, ain't no ones. And I'm like, damn, you know? I was like, nah, fool, I ain't going. So then they're like, hey, fool, I'm telling you, like, just leave, you know? And I was like, nah, wait, fuck it. And then, so basically the chota, because they got cameras in there, right? So they can see when the gente se hacen bola, like when everybody gets together. Mm-hmm. The chota walks back there and he kind of see what's going on. And he was like, you're not welcome, huh? Basically tells me, like, you're not welcome here, huh?
Like, fool, you already know you're going to be welcome.
I was like, damn, you know? And then I was like, nah, whatever, woo. So then this fool basically leaves, you know? I don't go nowhere. And I leave. I don't say no more. Like, this happened in a period of like 30 minutes. He walks out. The fools push up on me, right? And they're like, nah, fool, you can pack it out. So I went swinging on them, boom, boom, boom. Luckily, they didn't stab me, though. They just jumped on me a little bit. And then they take me to the hole. So after they take me to the hole, I still don't see no raza. Like, the Cuban dude, I tell the Cuban dude, like, what happened? Because literally, they didn't even get far. Like, it was like 20 minutes. So then the Cuban dude's an orderly. He's like, I told you not to go in there, way. And I was like, damn. I was like, hey, bro, look, where the homies at? And he was like, he's just a paisado, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he was like, oh, there's some in this dorm, but there's not a lot. Like, it's not a big homie camp. I was like, damn. So they took me to the hole. I'm in the hole, and then these gabachos next door to me, they're like, hey, they hit the wall. At this time in the hole, the flap, I don't know how the hole is over here. Over there, you can't look out the back window. The flaps are closed and the window was closed. So this shit was like driving me crazy. This is my first day in prison. So after they jump on me, my first day literally, like after, diagnostics. So I can't, like, you just hear people talk, yelling and shit like that. I don't hear no raza, I don't hear nothing. He was like, there's a raza under you. And he was like, you'll hear him whistle. So I hear this for whistle, I chop it up with him. He was like, he ended up being Mara. He was MS. And he was like, hey, where'd you come from? I was like, D-dorm. And he was like, D-building. He was like, wait, why'd you go over there? And I was like, well, they put me there, He was like, nah, you can't go there, like, they should have a ride. He's the one that told me what had happened, Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn. So then he was like, look, you need to go to this dorm, this dorm, this dorm, this dorm. So basically, like, I did like 15 days. And then, well, before the 15th day, the homie who had the head of the camp, he ended up going to the hole.
So you got to talk to him?
Yeah, I got to talk to him, right? And the homie was like, hey, where you from? Like I said, I'm from a country town, but so was he. He was from the country town too, but he just was up north. So he was like, hey, go to this dorm. Like, my cousin's over there, go to this dorm. But his cousin was a homie, though. He was like, go to this dorm. He was like, when I get out, we're going over there. So I was like, cool, right? So, I ended up going over there. And then I get out the hall. As soon as I walk in, so a lot of times, as soon as you walk in the dorm, it's like vultures. Like, fools already at the gate. Like, cause you gotta go like walk in. So when you walk in, it's like a salad port, and then they're gonna pop that salad port to go in. So the homies either grab your stuff, like, hey, where you from? Like, you know, you're raza, you're black, you're white, you know, boom, boom, and trying to help basically. Well, when I go in, they don't fucking help me, you know, like they don't help. Like,
oh no,
cause I look white. So me parezco gabacho, right? So then, it was like, you know, blacks and things like that. They was like, hey fool, where you from? You know? And I was like, I'm a homie. And then it was like, oh damn, they were like, your people are there or over there, right? So I ended up what's crazy, I ended up bunking with a homie. And then there was like
you're like, fuck, finally.
yeah, finally, you know? But even then, I'm not from the city, so the homies kind of like, damn, you know, like if we're not, even though we're cool.
Who did you have to become to survive?
So prison is really like a little bit different. I just feel like it's more of like everything goes out the window and all that. I'm gonna make it out alive in here, you know? So it's kind of like, before my mama cries, I want your mama to cry, you know? Like, I'd rather my mama cry and be like, you know, damn, that fool got a lot of time, but he handled that business, you know? Instead of like, damn, my son got aired out and he died in there.
Yeah. What part of you hardened?
I think more as in like after a while, like things just start happening, just like, bro, it's just life, bro, you know, like this is what it is, you know?
And what does prison do to a man's mind? Or I should say a young adult, because you're a young adult still that have to actually be a fucking Superman.
Yeah. So I think that so the way I looked at it, like, I'm not gonna lie, so I was kind of losing my mind a little bit, like, and losing my mind is like, I was like, bro, I'm just gonna crash out, you know, like, cause I got a lot of time, so I'm like, you know, just whatever. And then, like, I started meeting people that are like, bro, if you can go back on the pill, bro, you can kind of give time back, you know, like, bro, don't just crash out, you know. That's the main homie I met. Whenever I got to his dorm, he kind of told me that, like, bro,
you're bunky.
Well, not his cousin. His cousin had the whole camp, like the opposite of the campo. So he the one told me, like, bro, like, you can give your time back, you know, like, you ain't got to really emerge or you ain't got a body, you know, like, you can get you some money and you know, and but I feel like I needed prison. I'm not gonna lie to you, I needed prison, but I say it was a lesson and a blessing at the same time.
Of course,
because I needed it because I was like, bro, I was just super wild, and a lot of people I thought were with me weren't really with me, you know, like even like family members, things like that, like people I thought were with me.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Who was there? Like, who was there for you?
So, like, my mom, my sister, basically really it. Like, yeah, you know, you got homies you talk to and things like that. But I never asked them for, like, financial support because I knew that what I got myself into, like, I'm like, bro, I'm going to make a way. Like,
yeah,
I'm going to make a way in here where I don't have to ask them for nothing, you know? So it was one of those things, like, but they were there, like, they came to visit me like 3 times out of my whole bid.
Okay.
But it's kind of like far, you know? But even though, like, they came to visit me, it's still like, not that I didn't want to be visited, it's just me leaving sucked. Like, me leaving the reality of, like, I would prefer to talk to them on FaceTime. Like, you know? Like, I prefer to just to call them instead of actually seeing them there and I got to turn my back and go one way.
Like, it just kind of hurts a little more.
Yeah.
It does hurt.
And so it sucks, you know? Like, it sucks, like, damn, you know, like on FaceTime, it's like, hey, hold on, let you go. We're finna go to chow, you know? We're finna go wreck your, I'm call you back, you know? Just kind of like that instead of like, damn, I actually had to see you here. You drove 3-4 hours to come see me. And now you're going that way and I'm going this way, you know?
Yeah. How long did you do all your time in that same prison?
The majority, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't really get transferred out of there.
Oh, okay. That was kind of good then?
Because of COVID, yeah. So at first, like I said, like, at first, I was flat. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, police had raided me. I took all my money. I was broke. I couldn't afford the phone. So my first couple of years in prison, it was like, it sucked. Like, I was like, man, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, I ain't got no motion here. Like, you see fools that got motion? And, like, these fools got it going on, but they're not putting me on because I'm not from the city. So they're kind of like, he's a homie, but he's not really my homie, you know? Like, he's a homie, like, you know, but he's not really. Like, they'll let me use their phone and things like that. And I'm trying to, hey, man, we got to put something together, such and such. And phones are high. I don't know about over here, but over there, the camp I was at, a cheap phone is $2,000, like cheap Android, anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. So it's kind of like.
I think it's the same.
Yeah, so I kind of, I kind of lost it, right? Because I didn't have no money because I lost all my bread when I got busted. So I'm like, damn, bro, I gotta find a way to make money, you know, things like that. And after probably like about my third year, I ended up going to another dorm. Like, I was fighting my case, really. I was fighting my case back and forth. I was going to appeal. I ended up landing this set with this paisa. Come back. So whenever we come back from court, we got to go to the hole, and then basically they let you out the hole after a couple of days. This paisa, I met him. He was like, "Hey, bro, come to my dorm. You know, I let you use my phone." Like, I felt bad for him. So when I hit the county jail,
He was a blessing in your life, period.
Basically,
Uh-huh.
so he had life without well, he had life plus like with some numbers, right? But he when I came back from the county jail, I had stuff that he didn't have in 20 years. He'd been down 20 years. So it was like hot pickles, Eastern chips, Hershey's. And he was like, "Hey, I never had that food." And I was like,
Hi.
you have it. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, "Nah, this fool gave me a gold watch." Even though it wasn't real, he gave it to me.
It was
though,
gold plated.
It was, yeah, it was
Colored
like gold plated,
gold.
you know? Like, fools ain't got this in here. And he was like, because I guess he probably felt like, "Oh, this fool's giving me too much stuff. You know, I got to give him something back."
Hi.
But yeah, man. So that paisa there, he kind of was like, "Hey, bro, come to my dorm." Like, I can I was telling him, I was like, "Bro, this was going on." You know, he was like, he had motion, but at the time I didn't realize he had motion.
Because he was so like probably low key.
Because he was so like quiet. Like, he was so
Real
quiet,
ones.
right? But he would talk to me though. Like, he like, we was bunk mates in the hole, right? So we were like talking things like that. And I'm not gonna lie, so I don't know about over here, but a lot of homies over there, it's not me speak down, but a lot of homies there are drug addicts, like super bad drug addicts. So a lot of paisas or people with motion, like there's homies over there with motion, don't get me wrong, like in prison with motion. But a lot of them, they were like, "Man, if I give him some kind of motion, he's gonna fuck it up. He's a drug addict. He's gonna do this." So,
right away you could tell by looking at somebody.
Kind of, but sometimes not though, because sometimes they come clean and they be like clean for so long and then they, blow
Relapse.
back.
Got it.
And so he ended up going to another dorm. I go to another dorm, and we didn't make it in the same dorm, right? But I see him, he's like, "Hey, so I go, hit me up, But I'm not the kind of person I'm going to ask you for it, I was like, if you're going to front it, you can front it, but I'm not going to ask you for it. So I did a little bit in that dorm, and there was a homie in there too, but he was twacked out. Like, y'all consider them like J-Cats, Like, what y'all call them, J-Cats?
Like the one that talk to themselves kind of in their own shit, like.
Yeah. Like, so I was like, this fool here, he ain't gonna make it, you know what I'm saying? So I ran into a lot of homies like that. And then I ended up, we go to yard. Sometimes they put us together on the yard. So I was like, "Fool, we ain't got no phone over there. Like, Raza ain't got no phone. Raza on the floor." And they were like, "Hey, fool." It was another homie from Riverside. Not this Riverside from over there.
Okay.
He was like, "Hey, bro, I think we should just leave and go to that dorm over there. We can make something happen." Because we were cooking liquor, but it wasn't like enough bread. Like, we couldn't buy no phone. It wasn't enough, So he was like, I'm like, "Okay, let's go, We ended up going to the hall. We let us out, go to that dorm. In like a month, I'm up. Like,
Because of the señor.
Kind of, but not really. But he's like, "Hey, now you're in a good placement." He was like, it's because he's kind of like they would try to tell me things. I'm like, "I'm not going over there, fool. Like, there's a bunch of paisas over there, you know what I'm saying? Like, it might be 1 or 2 homies, but a lot of times they don't want a bunch of homies in there. Because like I said, like a bunch of homies are trouble, Like, I don't know about over here, but allá es que like, these people might be drug addicts, such and things like that. Well, let me backtrack this. So after I got jumped on, because I forgot to mention this, after I got jumped on, I went to the hole. I met this norteño, right? So this norteño, at the time, in prison, Georgia prison, we all ride together in norteño. I had norteños, sureños, Latin Kings, whatever.
Because you guys are Latin.
Yeah, we're Latin. Puerto Ricans, some Puerto Ricans don't ride with us, but some do. Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, Colombians, we all together. Because like, bro, we're going to be outnumbered and we're over with. I met this norteño, right? And he was young. He was like my age. A little bit younger than me. But he was like, "Hey, I'm such and such for such and such." And I'm like, "Shoot, I'm a homie, But we're behind the door. He's like, "Who's your bunkmate?" I was like, "Black dude." But obviously I tell him something else in Spanish, and he was like, "Hey, I'm about to send you something." Now this was a northerner. At the time, I'm like, why would a northerner be sending me something? Cause like I said, it was my first day in prison, right? So like after I got jumped on and things like that happened, I meet this fool in the hall and he's like, hey, I'm finna send you something. And I was like, I bet. So the orderly comes to the door, pops the flap, he gives it in. I'm on the bunk chilling. My bunkmate, the black dude, grabs it. It's a book. It's a fierro inside the book. The black dude was like, hey, hold on, no, wrong door. I'm like, no, that's for me. So the black dude was like, hey, bro, we got a problem. Like, I'll just leave the cell. This fool sent me a big ass banger. And Norteño, right? And so that's how I kind of like whenever I seen that right there, I kind of like, damn, these fools really are my enemies, you know? Like, this was riding with me, like, helping me, you know? Like, because, you know, obviously it's a race thing, and he sees I got a black bum. Because they don't separate you over there. Over there, it's like, I don't care if you're black, white, you're going in there, you know? So, but needless to say, like, whenever I noticed, like, damn, this fool's in Norteño. Like, I know over here politics are different, things like that.
But you're out there. It's different.
This fool gave me, like, a fierro, and I was like, you know what's crazy is that if we would have seen each other on the street, we would have beefed, but now this fool's in here protecting me, like. And I ended up in a dorm with him too, though.
You got to meet him.
Yeah, I got to meet him. We were finna go ride. The fool's really wild. He's really wild, but like wild is like he'll ride, you know. Like, and I respect that.
Of course.
Like, I don't see them as like they're just like. I look at it like this. They just grew up in different neighborhoods. And different colors.
Understand completely.
You know, and because when I got to know him, like there's not a lot of them on compound. There's barely any homies on compound. There's rarely any of them.
So if you're lying, you're lying. Like, for example, I understand what you're saying. When I was in Minnesota, there weren't too many people from Cali. One of my good friends, she's from up north. She had the whole 4 right here.
Yeah.
And that was my girl.
Yeah.
But it's different, because there's not too many girls from Cali.
Yeah. It's kind of like you ain't got no choice. Like,
well, no, I hang out with, it's different for girls. Okay. But that was still my girl. Like, me and her were cool as hell.
Okay.
You know? And she comes down here, I'm going to interview her. Like, she already knows. That's my friend on Instagram. Like, that's my girl, you know?
Yeah.
And what?
And it is what it is.
And
like,
what?
That's how I kind of look at it. Like, so when I tell like my homies on the street that now, like, I'm like, you know, well, when I called home and I was like, bro, you know who gave me a fierro first? And there was like the homies. I'm like, nah, fool, Norteño. And they was like, what are you supposed to smash out on them? And I'm like, bro, you don't even like.
Like, you're not here.
You're not here, so you don't know what's going on. Like, you can tell me this and that, but I would tell that fool, like, fool, we got a problem. Like, let's ride. Like, that fool ride, you know? Like, one day he had a problem and he was like, hey, fool, nah, that talking about the TV. Because it was Spanish TV. And he was like, nah, this fool's not cambiando el canal. He's like, nah, we ain't going for that. And I'm like, hold up, you're right back. Let me go to my room real quick. And, you know, grab fierros and come out. Let's go. You know, it is what it is. Even though he was a Norteño, like, we rode together, you know, so now I kind of don't see it as that, you know. Like,
I understand completely.
Disrespect until disrespect, you know, like, and I got whackouts.
I know, and fools will get it. Like, it doesn't even matter. It's not even about, like, justifying or even trying to explain it, because nobody needs no explanation at the end of the day. Like, that's your life, that's your experience, that's what you were dealing with, and it just is what it is. I just wanted to tell that story because I know, like, I see a lot of internet controversy where, like, for sure,
where they diss each other, and it's kind of like, even though, like, I got homies over there, right? And I tell my homies, like, bro, why would you diss them when you never run into them, you know?
Well, that's how it is here in Southern California, though. We don't...
Yeah. They bang against each other, basically.
Yeah, like, that's the central...
And Northern Cali.
And I say that respectfully, you guys. Yeah. You guys could take it how you want. I'm just saying, like, what it is. Like, out here, we could wear red.
Yeah.
Out there, them fools in Central or wherever, you know, like up north, like, you guys, that's your pedo.
Yeah.
That's not how we live down here.
Yeah.
Now, it's the youngsters that kind of want to make it, the youngsters that come from, and I don't want to say this, but it's the younger homies that come from Central Valley that really beef. It's what it is. Like, it's you fools causing chaos.
I kind of get that because they actually the ones beefing with them.
And maybe nobody even talks about it, but I'm bringing that shit up because this is what we're talking about right now. You know, and it is what it is. Like, you fools keep that shit up there. Like, that ain't nobody beefing. Yeah, it was a little beef with the rapper shit. But again, that's a rapper shit.
It's entertaining. And
it's not
rapper shit,
fucking...
Yeah.
I mean, it's reality.
But, yeah.
But, I mean, that shit kind of makes me mad.
I was mad whenever I seen that first happen.
Because
I'm like,
it's just like, bro, like, no.
I was like, I'm supposed to hate you fools, but these fools had my back. Like, my homies were like, nah, fool, what? And I was like, yeah, this fool has my back.
Like, you're not here.
And it is what it is, you know? Like, but, and I got whackouts on me, you know? And he had whackouts, you know? But it's kind of like.
But
like,
it is what it is.
It is what it is, you know? Like, it is what, like, he's the one, you know, riding with me, you know? Like.
Tell me about your daily routine. Like, what would you, like, what was your routine? Like, you wake up, what would you do?
Okay, when I was broke or when I had money?
When you have money.
When I had money, so.
Oh, yeah, tell me how that transitioned or what?
Okay, so. Long story short, I get in this new dorm, me and the homie get in this new dorm. So now it's a bunch of, like 20 raza in here, right? And there was one other homie, you know, he was the one that had the yaba at the time. The other homie had left, so he had the yaba now. And he didn't want us over there. That fool basically was like, nah, well, I don't want y'all over here. Like, you're gonna cause a bunch of problems and shit. But he didn't really know, like.
That you're not a user.
Yeah, that I'm not a user. Like, I don't do, you know, chiba, I don't do meth, I don't do coke. I used to smoke weed at the time, but then I quit because I would wig out in prison. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it's not the same.
And so when we get in there, he's trying to like basically like lay the law down. And I get it, you know, like you don't want like pierderos in your dorms. He's like, look, fool, the last homies that were in here made me look bad. I had to put them on the door. Because we don't have PC prisons over there. There's no PC. Like PC is the whole. We don't have SNY. We don't have like, they don't have paperwork check over there. The only way I'm going to check your paperwork is like, this fool story ain't adding up. He told me he was here for like an ag, and he told you he was here for armed robbery and this kind of, let's look at this fool up on the phone. And now we can see, you know?
But before, we didn't have PCs. We didn't have 50-50 yards. Everything was just a hole. Them fools just stay on one side. Okay. I mean, for men, obviously, like,
yeah.
I'm a woman. But I've heard so many fucking stories. I feel like I've already been in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So it's like before it wasn't like that.
Okay. So over there, it's not like that. Like over there, it's like, if your homies put you on the door and you're going to go to the hole, you can try to go to the other side of the compound or other dorms, but we got ramfla. So it's like, hey, that fool's no good, bro. Like that fool's, you know, be careful.
I understand.
Even when people hit camps, or they're basically like I said, it's like vulture. We'll be at the window and be like, hey.
Seeing what's up.
We'll be like, you del barrio? And I'm like, you know, Simon, I'm talking from such. Okay, cool. Where you come from? What prison? I came from such. I bet. I know, homie. You know, I'm gonna hit him. Hey, you know, such. Or, you know, toma photo, bro. You know, such, you know? Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, the homie's good. The homie's no good. The homie's feeding me. He makes money. The homie's no good, you know?
Got it.
And so back to, like, how I made the money, I got in the dorm. I got put in rotation. Now I'm making money, right? But now I start to see that the homies that didn't, you know, not that they didn't kick it with me, but they didn't really, like, care for me. Now it's like, oh, this fool makes bang. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now you want to kick it.
Now they want to kick it, but I peep game though. Like, I'm like, okay, now I see what's going on, you know? So, like, the homies would say what's up and things like that, but the homie I came with, like, the homie that me and him went in the dorm, I didn't have nothing at the time. I didn't have no money on my books. His people would put money on my books, so because he's like limited per week. Mm-hmm. His people would put money on my books, so that way we could get more in the store. Mm-hmm. But I looked out for him. When I went up, when I shot through the roof, I'm like, I skin him down, like, hey, wait, here, use a ramfly, whatever, you know, like, you want to smoke? Here, these fools just gave me this, here, you know, whatever. And he wasn't a user either, but, so, it's kind of like I said, like, a lot of homies were users, so we'll be like, nah, fool, like, we ain't having that, like, okay, if you use, I get it, you know, but the thing about it is, like, you can't get Jade out where you owe money, you owe debts, now the blacks are, you know, because over there separated by gangs, even though they're all black, separated by gangs. But they would be like, hey, fool, your homie owes me money. He ain't trying to pay me. What's up? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we would have to handle that, you know, like, you know, the homies. And, but anyways, I ended up, you know, making money. So literally my routine on the money, right? Obviously I would work out every day. Like I'd bust down the burpees. and I'd do it with some paisas too, like with paisas. So when I had money in prison, my routine was I would get up, obviously inspection, you gotta get inspection, you gotta tuck your shirt in, you gotta make your bed, warden walk through, boom. I would get my phone out, ramfla. You know, do whatever I do on the phone, make TikToks.
Really?
I'm not saying it's not fun, you know, like.
Nah, you're just killing your
Yeah,
time,
I'm
bro.
just
Like
killing my
I
time.
literally asked you, like, what did you do? Did you play games?
Yeah.
Were you on? Obviously,
Nah.
you were on your phone all
That's
day.
why I said I didn't have pen pals.
You were on your phone all day.
I would be on the phone all day, whatever, however to make money, you know? Obviously through the phone. Have you ever heard, so the YouTuber, a big YouTuber, he's still locked up, free Jim K. You ever heard of Jim K?
I don't
Un preso
know.
en el mundo real?
I don't know.
Well, he's the famous prison YouTuber. Well, he was my bunkmate
Uh-huh.
for like a week or two, but he was in my dorm. But, so this fool, me pasó, like, I guess TikTok found my, right? So, he would post me. Like, he would just, this fool here, his channel was like, Un preso en el mundo real, right?
I gotta look at it. I probably have
this
seen
fool's
it.
like 1.8 million subscribers. So this fool's up there, you know, gets checks and everything.
Oh
So
shit!
well, I mean,
That was
he, you know, I guess however they work
Yeah, whatever
they
he's
get the
doing, he's
check,
doing. Yeah,
but he
yeah,
gets the
yeah.
check, right? So this fool was like, bro, the ladies love you, bro. Like, like,
yes.
and he's a paisa.
Love that.
Well, he's
Love that.
Honduran.
Yeah,
He's
of
a Hon-
course.
But he's the one that told me, he said, bro, they're gonna love you, bro. Like, cause at first I'm like, I ain't being on video, bro. You tripping? Cause sometimes when a video goes viral, they'll come in there, they'll lock you out, they'll take you to the hole, right?
Yeah, because bro, you're like doing too
You're
much.
exposing them, you
Yeah.
know. And I should learn my lesson, pero basically this fool gave me the game, but like, hey bro, I'm gonna post you on TikTok, make Instagram, you're gonna go crazy, you know. So they were hitting me up, you know. So
You're so happy.
I just passed my day like hablando con viejas, you know. Pero so you can't really hold a relationship, you know. So that's why I said like,
And I was gonna ask you, how did you hold your relationships up?
Because you can't, because we call it calentando la comida, right? And the reason why I say calentando la comida is because you can tell this girl whatever, but she's finna go handle it. You can do whatever you want to do on the phone, you know? And then she want the real deal. She's on the street. She gonna get the real deal, you know? So...
Somos te la pasabas calentando la comida.
But like, hey, fuera calentando la comida. And so basically, man, we would have the girls call me 3-4 in the morning after they leave the club. I'm like, dang, you know, like, she probably gonna get piped right now, you know? Like, don't call me right now, you know? Just call me after. Hit me up tomorrow, you know?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Or someone be like, oh, I was partying last night, I couldn't call you back. I'm like, I bet, you know?
Hey, it doesn't always mean bitches is getting piped down, bro.
I'm just saying, like, you think about it, so technically we don't know them. I don't know them, you know? I just know them through Instagram
Yeah,
or,
I understand.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
So I don't know these people at all,
At
you know?
all. You're just fucking living your best life.
I'm just, well, I'm in prison, you know?
I mean, you're living your best life in prison. As good as it's gonna get. You know what I mean?
And basically, you just went from there, you know?
You're just on the fucking phone. Who stayed loyal in your life besides your mom and your sister?
I got, you know, okay, so this is the thing about the money thing, right? So once I started getting money back in prison, like, people suspected me to look out for them on the street. Because they would see, like, if you go to my Instagram, you're going to see, like, if you go all the way to the bottom when I was in prison, you're going to be like, this fool had, like, chains on, clothes, you know.
I know I did. I was like, this fool got his fucking polo shorts on, like
Yeah,
pants.
you know, but I would pay a lot for that, you know? So, but it was...
Fucking waste some money, huh? Just to be fucking cool.
1,000%
Just to
waste
be
of money.
cool.
But it was like, I wanted to feel good. I wanted to, you know, show off, you know?
Of course, you're a flashy ass fool.
Yeah, so it's like I'm in prison, but because a lot of people did me wrong because they found out I had 30 years. They would run off on my money. People owe me money. They would run off.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, that fool never getting out. Fuck him, you know? So I'd be like, hey, you know, like, it is what it is. So now I got, so I'm...
You got motion. Your Instagram's back up. You going.
I'm going. I posted a picture where I got like $2,000. It's not even like $2,000, but cash though.
And you're in prison. Yeah.
I went viral. People on the street seen that and they were like, fool, you making hella bank, you know, like cut it off. I mean, fuck you, you know?
Nah, you cut me off, fool.
Or they're like, plug me in, you know, like with somebody, I'm like, fuck y'all, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
you should have fucking learned. You should have stayed loyal.
Yeah, so then I went viral for that. I ended up getting booked for that. And that's when I learned my lesson. I can't show no money on, you know, Instagram no more. Not in prison. But the police staff told me that. Like, the gang lady, she comes down there and she was like, where's the money? And I'm like, I ain't got no money. And she was like, let me show you something. Y me enseña su teléfono. She shows me her phone. She's like, I'm not supposed to show you this. She's like, but this is what I'm looking for. And it's me with two phones. Like,
cool.
a phone like, cool.
Technical difficulties, guys. So the CO lady came and she showed you the picture of you holding the two bands.
Yeah, so I had the money and I had the two phones, and she was like, "This you," and I'm like, "Nah, it's not me." And then she was like, "Fool, this is you. Like, where's the money?" And I was like, "Dang." She told me like the commissioner. The way it worked is the commissioner of Georgia sent the email out to all the prisons had found this inmate. He's basically giving the staff another check, and so it went from there. And then she left. She was like, she found tobacco and things like that. She took it. She didn't lock me up. The warden came down there and was like, "Where's the money man?"
The money man.
The money man. And I came out the door. He's like screaming like, "Where's the money man?" I came out and he's like,
You knew it was
pack
you.
it up. Yeah. Everybody knew. Everybody was like, "Hey, bro," because everybody in the dorm talks like, "Hey, they're coming down the wall. They're finna come hit the rooms." And they came for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dang." But
Money man.
yeah, the money man. Then he locked me up for like 5 days, and after that, it was kind of like.
And you left your phones or you took your phones?
No, I left my phones with homies because so we have orderlies that work the hole. He said, "Hey, tell them don't bring nothing. They're gonna hit him again over there," which they didn't either.
Yeah.
But they were like, they're gonna hit him again over there because they had checked me one time. They're like, they're finna check for the phones over there too.
So obviously we're on Indicted, right? One of the main questions I always ask is, what was the craziest thing you experienced or you saw?
I think one of the most craziest things that I seen in there, me and a homie was at a kiosk, and well, obviously we hear like different rival gangs, they do their calls. So he's like, "Ponte trucha," so we get up, and then I see the fool stab this fool in the eye. He stabbed a güero, a black guy stabbed a güero, a white guy in the eye. But when he hit his eye, I don't know if he like popped it. I don't know if his eye popped or if it went like in the back of his head or what. But when he opened his eye, like he got stabbed a couple times, boom, boom. He like take off running, and he like everybody was like, "Hey, chill, we're not trying to get the dorm. Like, we don't want to lose everything,
This was freaking losing his eye. This was
Yeah.
selfish as food.
We're like, "Hey, everybody put up, climb on, put up. So everybody's running trying to put up. And this was like eye, but I remember he opened his eye. They're like, "Open it," and he like opened it. He was like straight red. He didn't leak out yet. That was crazy. I was like, whoa.
No, that is. Why do you think that part sticks with you?
I think the eye situation. I mean, like I said, I seen people. I seen another guy. He walked up to.
No, I'm saying like, why do you think that sticks with you?
I think because about his eye. Like,
I know.
I think I wondered like, did his eye pop
or not,
or did it like get pushed back, or where'd his eye go?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
But that's like crazy.
Yeah. I wouldn't even be able to. I got it in one de Dios, right?
Yeah, that's like con su ojo. And I later seen the guy and he, like lo tenía cerrado.
Oh, no patch. They didn't patch him up.
He just had estaba cerrado.
That's pretty crazy. What moment do you feel that while you were in there hurt you the most? Like, what did you experience? Do you feel like, damn, that shit hurt me?
I think when people were like turning their back on me because I had so much time.
Got it.
They were like turning their back.
That's pretty.
They were like cutthroating me, like basically they would run off on me. They would do little things to me, like because I still had cars and things like that on the street. I still had cars on the street. Different things. But like, oh, such and such came.
Were those the same people that try to come back when you started
100%,
getting money?
100%.
Yeah.
My first day out of prison, they were like, trying to hit me up and things like that. And I was like, nah, bro. Like some of them I still went around.
Yeah.
But some of them, like when I started seeing like, because when I went to prison, I was kind of like, like I had money, but not like that.
Yeah, of course not.
So
then you got to get a lawyer and all that shit.
Yeah. So then I went to the appeal situation, and I ended up.
How did you do the appeal? Tell me about that.
So I was fighting my case. I ended up writing up a check and I got money, and then I basically bought me a lawyer, and he was like, "Look, bro, on the appeal, he's like, I can get you." He's like, "If your co-defendants will accept the fact that you didn't break in the house, you got found guilty of that." It was like, "I can get you for 100%, and nothing's guaranteed, but I can get you minimum get that charge dropped." So I was like, "Okay, cool. If they gave me 15 just for that." So I was like, then I just still have 15, which is non-violent. I can do like 5, years.
She already fucking did.
Yeah,
Who
I
knows
already
how many?
did like 4. And so after that, I'm going back and forth to court. One day I get this call out and they're like, "Your lawyer's here to see you." And I was like, "Lawyer?" I was like, "Yeah." I go up front and he's there. He's like, "Look, bro." It was him and the lady, and they were like, "Look, they're offering you got like granted for an appeal, like a new trial." It was like, but they're offering you a deal. It was 35 serve. No, so in total it was like 35 serve 20. But you still got a consecutive 5 for the gun. And I'm like, damn, like we can't get it run together. He was like, nah. And I was like, dang. So I was like, nah, let me think about it. Y'all came too fast. Like, you didn't even tell me nothing about it. Like, you know, you got like jail lawyers in there. This fool's been in there 40 years. I show him. He's like, bro, how old are you? And at the time I was like 20 something. He's like, you'll be out for 28. He's like, I'm not telling you what to do, but I've been in here 40 years. It was like, you'll be out before you're 28. He's like, if you sign. I was like, okay, I'm going to sign. I went back, I signed, and then I came back. And then the crazy thing about it is my TPM, PED date, like your parole out date, like when you come up for parole, the gang lady, because obviously she knew me because I went viral and she started knowing me. And then a lot of times when there's problems, they try to talk to like homies in position. Not that I was a homie in no position, you know. They just try to talk to homies that have some kind of like, I guess you could say like,
Pool.
They know.
Yeah,
like,
they know.
That they know like that fool has movement, this fool has movement, like, you know. So whenever there's problems, they'll try to talk about the problem. They'll be like, hey, your homie's in the hole, this fool's wigging out, we're finna ship him out. Or they'll be like, your homie died, you know, or like, you know, we know, you know, that what's going on in other prisons, like, let's not keep that here, let's not do that. You know, they try to keep the peace because they don't want to do like a job that they don't want problems, you know?
Yeah, they just want to keep it smooth.
Keep it smooth for them. But so anyway, I tell her, I'm like, hey, when my parole came up, after my appeal, like I had like 2 more years, my parole came up. I was like, you think they're gonna let me go home? And she was like, I don't know, you know, kind of like, and I was like, damn, no, I'm not gonna go home, you know, like, yeah, because she was telling me like, I don't know, you know, and I was like, damn, like, and I was like, man, did you put me down as like I'm somebody like a gang? Like, she was like, well, obviously I knew I was classified as a gang member. I just didn't want to be labeled as like
some crazy shit,
high rank, because over there they'll label you like, if you're like, that they label you like a high ranking gang member, somebody they can talk to, they won't let you go. Because they want to be like, oh, if we have problems, we can talk to him, you know? So I was like, whoa, you know, like, I was like, man, because she done pulled us out a couple times, me and another homie, and like, hey, I'm going to take you out to the hole. You need to talk to your homie because this is going on, you know, so. And that's crazy about over there. Like, I mean, I don't know if they do it over here, but they may be like, hey, try to calm the fellow down. Like, we know a riot will happen if this happened, you know, like, so they'll try to like calm. I think
they probably
try to get the situation calmed down. But she told me, she's like, I don't know. She's like, maybe. And I was like, damn, you know?
Yeah, bitch, fucking check.
Well, I got a phone, right? Obviously, you know? So she knows. She's like, check on your phone. And I was like, there's a website, TPM lookup. So I look it up and it tells me the date. It was like, July 2022. So I was like, damn, boy, I got a parole date, you know? So I was happy.
22 is fucking amazing.
Yeah, so it's July 2022, right? So I was like, damn, you know, like, it was like, not too far, probably like a couple months. So I was like, oh shit, I got a day, you know?
Oh,
so
you probably felt so good.
I just was trying to run it up as fast as possible because I wanted to, you know,
have enough money.
Have enough money because I knew, like, you know, when I get out, things was gonna be like, you know, hectic. So basically, I did that, and then the day started coming closer. I would look it up. They were like, you know, they can take it from you. They're like, de repente te lo quitan for nada.
No.
So I'm just looking it up. And then my counselor called me. She's like, hey, come to the front. They were like, hey, you go home Wednesday. You got somebody to pick you up? They're like, you can ride the bus or somebody to pick you up. I'm like, no, I got somebody to pick me up. She's like, you want to use the phone? I'm like, nah. She's like, use your cell phone in the back. I'm like, I ain't got no phone. But obviously they can kind of tell, you know? Like, they know too, like, that fool there has motion. They know by looks, you know? And she, you know, joking with me, she's like, well, you gonna use your cell phone in the back? You finna go call somebody? And I'm like, nah, you know? And
you wouldn't even play it off? No, huh?
I would tell them like, nah. But they know, like.
But I'm saying, like, you never just hopped on the regular phone just to play it off?
Nobody rides the regular phones, you know?
You're kidding.
Any viewer, go to TikTok or YouTube, put in Georgia prison. You're going to be like, whoa, it's wild, you know?
I'm going to look.
It's wild. If you see it with the white and the blue stripe, wild. The inmate that killed the lady in there with a gun. How did he get a gun? He killed a staff member.
Oh my God.
That's Georgia, by the way, but, you know, he killed himself too. But in prison, he got a gun and killed the lady because they were, like, going out. Look it up. True story. Crazy.
Well, respectfully, you're going to bring a fool gun? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, you know, it just was.
Okay, so it was Wednesday. Yeah. It was Wednesday.
Wednesday comes.
Who picked you up, first of all?
My sister. But before I got picked up, a lot of fools, they get picked up by the feds. We call them fails. We're like, the fails come pick you up on the day you get out. So the lady who comes gets me, she says, hey, somebody wants to talk to you. I'm like, fuck, it's on those fails, you know? I'm like, dang. But that's after I get all my things. I get all my things together. It's like 5 a.m. She comes down there. She's like, hey, pack it up, such. Boom. So everybody knows I'm going home, you know? But everybody's like, oh, I'm gone. Like, I ain't got nothing to say. We've been here a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gone. I give everything out, you know, like phones, I sell them, whatever, you know? I walk to the front. She's like, somebody wants to talk to you.
You're like, damn,
before you
fails.
leave. That's why I said some of those fails. I'm like, damn, I done gave everything away. Some of those fails, you know? And so we're sitting there. So a couple inmates that work ID, because we got to go through ID first. I'm like, hey, who's in there? They're like, nobody. I'm like, you didn't see nobody? So they're like, you going home, ain't you? I'm like, yeah, bro, but nobody's like up front. They're like, nah. I'm like, damn. So we go up front. And Lieutenant, she tells the inmates, hey, y'all get out real quick. So I was like, oh, fuck. She pulls out her phone.
She wants me.
Nah, she pulls out her phone, calls. And it was a gang lady, the gang lady who was running it, puts me on the phone with her. And she says, hey, I didn't get to tell you, like, bye yesterday, you know?
Aye.
And I was like, damn, damn, you know? I was like, okay,
She
cool.
liked you, fool.
Nah, I don't think so. I think that, because she was the one that, she seen
Maybe
me from,
just respect, huh?
No, she seen me from when I first got there. So she put me in a fucked up dorm where I got fucked up at. And she kind of seen the progress. Like, you see?
She's seen you grow.
Yeah, but also she seen where I went from nothing to something, you know? So like, she seen me when she first put me in a fucked up dorm. These fools, you know, fucked me up. And then she's like, damn, that's my fault, you know? So I always would tell her that, like, damn, you know, you kind of fucked up. You just threw me in there, you know? So I was a joke with her. But she's the one that told me when I was going home, they called her and basically she was like, hey, you know, like, you're going home, don't come back. And I was like, nah, you know, I ain't coming back. So I'm just letting you know. She's like, I know you got money too. I'm like, I ain't got no money, you know? I'm like, nah.
Money man?
Yeah. So I was like, nah. So then we ended up walking out. And I'm still cautious because they're like, we got to do your fingerprints real quick. And then we'll let you out. So they're doing my fingerprints. They don't come up. They're like, what the fuck, you know? I'm like, oh, you know? And then it finally came up. My sister's out there. I can jump in the car. And it's kind of weird. It's a really weird feeling, you know?
Yeah. What was your first day out like? And like, what did you eat?
So my first day out, it was like 100 miles an hour. Because it's like, I had money, you know? But it was like, even though I had like money, I'm trying to get everything. Like, I'm trying to go hurry get a phone. I'm trying to get everything in motion. I'm trying to do everything in one day.
Instead of just fucking relaxing.
I just couldn't, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I already had like cars, you know, from before I went to prison.
Oh, so they were at your mom's?
Yeah. Like, well, it's like I had a lot of things because when I was in prison, I would manifest. And even like the homies that I know that I was in prison with, if they watch this, they're gonna be like, that fool would always say, like, I'm going home. I would buy clothes from in there, buy clothes, shoes. And they were like, why you do that? I'm like, because I'm going home one day. Like, I know I'm going home one day. Like, I don't care about the time. Like, I'm going home one day.
And you just had them.
I had my mom's house packed, you know.
What would she say? What would she tell you?
So my mom knew that, like, obvio, like, you know.
Obvio estás haciendo algo para ganar dinero,
you know, está haciendo algo, you know. But I would pay her bills, you know, things like that. So it's kind of like, me hago la ciega, you know.
Well, obvio, she already knows lo que tiene.
She knows, like, she's kind of like, okay, cool, like. So it's kind of like,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's your son, and whatever you want, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, whatever, you know.
You're my son.
Just don't get me into it, you know. No matter what, she was there, you know. But she's like, don't just get me into that, you know. And so I got out. I went to go eat with my sister.
What'd you eat?
A Longhorns. I went to Longhorns with my sister, my nephew. So we, you know, ate. But I was too much in a rush, you know. I was like, man, I gotta go do this. I gotta go do that. Anyways, I get out. I lasted 4 months. I didn't go to jail though. I lasted 4 months. But like I said, I wanted to show everybody I had money. So the stupidest thing I did was like, I go back to the cars with big wheels.
You spend all your money quick.
Well, I didn't spend all of it. I just spent some of it to be flashy, to show off. So now I'm in this little bitty town And they're like, that's that fool. Like, that's him, you know? Like, that's bro. And then I'm back. So now they're like, oh, what's up with the work? And I'm like, nah, I don't even do no work no more. Like, I don't got no work. Like, I don't got no holler. I don't do none of that. It's just I was showing off for them. Like, showing off, you know, different hoods. And they're like, oh, that fool.
He's back
He's
on.
back, you know? But they didn't know about the prison situation. And basically, my house got raided. 120 days out. They raided my house.
For what?
Because I'm on parole. And over there, they say parole. They can check your house at any time.
Oh, okay.
That's what they say, right?
Pretty normal shit.
But they hit my spot. People that are on parole say, fool, that's not normal. They don't do that over here. Like, they hit your spot because you're too flashy. I'm like, damn. They hit my spot. They're like, where is that? I'm like, where's what at? They're like, where is that? They're like, make it easier for yourself. I'm like, man, y'all do. They said like a good hour. They're checking, nothing. They were finna get ready to leave. I said, no. They're like, no, let's check your car. I was like, well, let's go check. They were finna get ready to leave. I'm like, no, we need to check good, you know? Like, you need to check good to make sure you don't come back. Like, lift up the back trunk. I want you to check everything. Don't just check normal, check everything. So now it's kind of like I'm clowning them, right? So they were like, hey, look, we already know, like, we're not dumb, you know? Like, you just came out of prison and now you're, like, back on. But obviously they didn't know that the money I made in prison. And they were like, we can do this anytime or whatever. And then after that, like, most of the money I had, I spent on rental properties. That's what I do now. Like, I live off rental properties. I don't have like 1,000 of them either. I just have 3 of them. And I live off that.
Oh, good.
You know, like, I mean, I hustle whatever. Like, if I get cars for cheap, I'll flip them.
So you stood out. Since you've
Since
never
then,
gone back.
I ain't gone back. My parole was real bad on me.
Really?
He was real bad on me. He was real bad. He would like drug test me out of nowhere. He'd be like, oh, where you at? Pull up. And then whenever he seen like they really couldn't like hit me with nothing, he was like, damn, fool, like, you were smart. And I was like, yeah, because I don't have to do nothing no more. I'm like, I made so much money that I basically just like leave it at that. Even like the cars I had before I went to prison, I sold them all. Because I was going broke. All the money I went in prison I made, I came home and I blew it all kind of basically. Like, I blew it all. And then the shit that I had, like jewelry, cars, I sold all of it. And I just invested in like real estate, tax sale properties. People don't know about that. Free game, tax sale properties. Mm-hmm. Pennies on the dollar, basically. Like, and I was pound. And I was like, now I live off that.
Thank God.
It's not just like, I don't make millions, but I don't have to do nothing no more.
What's one thing that surprised you about freedom after you were out? Because you weren't gone for that long, but...
Like 6.5.
That's still a little time. That's a super little stretch, you know?
I think that you don't realize what it's worth, you know? Like, we can complain right now and be like, oh, man, I'm not rich or I'm not this or that. But then you got the other fool that he wishes he had freedom. He don't care if he was broke.
That's right.
But then you got people that wish that they were like, I wish I had a leg. You know, I wish I wasn't stuck in a paralyzing wheelchair. You know,
yeah,
I wish.
You're so right.
You got to be grateful about that. It's just kind of like, I mean, sometimes, you know, a lot of us, we get ahead of ourselves and we're like, oh, this or that, but we complain a lot. But at the end of the day, you got to be grateful because you got a lot of things that like, dang, you're still alive.
Do you still fight the old version of you?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I first came, when one of the guys that came home, he was like, here, thin, holla. And I'm straight. I don't want it. And me and him fell out because of that. Because he was like, oh, you acting brand new. You know? But it's just like, how when I made my own way in prison, you said you gonna buy me a phone, you didn't buy me nothing, you know? Mm-hmm. I made my own way in prison and now you're like, you're supposed to be a homie and
you're not.
You know? And that's kind of one of the things that I was just like, nah.
Why do you think people are fascinated with prison?
Women?
No.
No, the reason why I say women because women would hit me up while I was in prison, and they'd be like, oh, it's because you're like an inmate. And I was like, what?
Oh, so girls like that.
They're like a fantasy. And I was like, that's crazy.
Right now, since you said that, did you ever meet up with any of the ones you found on TikTok and Instagram?
I have. I have.
Let me find out that's why you come to LA.
Hey.
He said, hey.
You know, funny story. I go to LA, San Diego, everywhere, you know.
That's why we posted it so they know how cabrón.
Yeah, so they be like, hey, how come you didn't hit me up when you were out here, you know?
Yeah, I'm hitting you up now.
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh, I forgot you were here. Because I forget, you know?
There are so many of them.
I'm not going to say it was so many. But they were like I said, the fool that was famous YouTuber, he'll put me on TikTok. and they would hit the line. I want the tattoo one, you know, because I'm all hit up.
Oh, the tattoo one. Damn,
And,
was pimping you. Fool.
Yeah. So they were like, he would like message him. So I would meet people from everywhere, from like, right now, like people from like Argentina, Colombia, Puerto Rico. I would just meet people from everywhere. And I was in prison, I had nothing to do. So I would talk to them. Hey, can you FaceTime? They're like, what's up? Because they didn't have that, you know?
Yeah.
And it would be like that. It was crazy.
Dang.
I'd link with some of them, not really, you know?
Yeah.
Some of them don't really look like who they look like. I would like...
You be feeling bad or what?
Nah, I just be like, dang, you know, like we can be cool, you know? This ain't gonna work out, you know?
I know it was a little rough, like obviously like reliving everything. Maybe not rough, but like, you know, you just relived everything. But you said like where you're at right now in your life. Where are you at right now in your life? You said you have cows and all kinds of things.
So we do have a farm, but we don't really it's not like a farm where we like breed cows or nothing, but like, cause I'm from the country, so we have that, you know? Like we have cow, turkeys. It's really like me and my people shit. We have cow, turkeys, that. But I don't. Now what I do, I just travel the world. I don't know if you see my Instagram, but I go to Colombia. I go to DR. I linked up with another podcaster. Basically, like, so some of the fools I got out with, that we're in prison with, we kind of connected. And I met through him, and he was like, hey, bro, like, you know, I do this podcast shit. We go out the country. That's one thing I'm going to say. In prison, I never did nothing. Even though I had money before I went to prison, like, you know, just little, not too much large amount, but I didn't live, you know? Like, people would tell me, that would hurt me the most. People would say, bro, you never been to Cali? Nope. You never been on a plane? Nope. You never been on jet ski? Nope. And I'd be like, bro, my mind was stuck with, like, on the street. Like, I just wanted to do, like hood shit. Like, I just want to stay in the hood. Not I want to stay in the hood, but it's like...
You were just making money.
I just was making money doing hood shit. I want to go to the club. I want to spin the club, throw on the strippers, like... And then when I went to prison, it was more like... I didn't never do nothing. So now I take that, I'll be like, bro, I've been to Colombia, been to DR, I go like all over I go to New York for the Mexican parade. But you didn't know I had Mexicans up there, did you? Me either. I like to experience like a lot, you know, like I go a lot places and because I feel like I never really had I had the opportunity, but I just didn't do it. Because I didn't want to be out of my comfort zone, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like one of those things.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
Good. Before we go, is there anything that you want to say about yourself or anything you want to say to let's just say a younger version of yourself?
One thing I would say is like more as in like, if you are in the street thing, like, you know, you do street situations or street things, eventually find a way to make it out. You know, because it's not going to last long.
That's right.
It doesn't last forever. So you have to find a way to make it out. Because if you stay stuck in that, it's like, that's all you're going to know, you know? But the world is a bigger place.
That's right.
Hey, if you do that, okay, cool. Try to find a make a way out. But just don't understand that it's just bigger than a neighborhood, you know? Mm-hmm. You can go explore other people's neighborhoods. Like, you know, different parts of the country, of the world. Because you don't want to just die or go to jail for a long time and you never experience none of it.
That's right.
So, yeah, man, you know, if you are in the street things, I get it. You know, we all been there, but there's always a way out. Don't ever let somebody think like it's not a way out. There's always a way out.
Yes, there is. Well, thank you for coming all the way from Georgia to come on Indicted. Of course. You guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram.